First on the play by Blewett. If he has good technique, he will be healing. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Fame. Fight through contact, fight through offensive line, doing a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. It's actual film, it's actual football talk. It's a football show, it's about football, not storylines.
What is up, everybody? Doing a solo show today. First time using StreamYard, so it might be a little bit messy. What's up, TJ, Eagle, Liam, Jan? I'll answer that question in a second. But yeah, using StreamYard first time might be messy. Obviously, different time. Usually we're Thursday at 6, or on Thursday at 6, so Wednesday night at 8. Maybe some. I'm sure people will trickle in. Mike, Assassin, what's up, everybody? I'm gonna try something new. Adam Gase was paid to lose, probably. So I'm gonna try something new. Again, it really depends on how the flow of the show goes and future shows. But I'm gonna try a call-in thing. If you call in, you don't have to. If you're not comfortable, you don't have to share your video. I don't believe there's an option to do that, or you can video in. I'm gonna try to talk to some people. Solo show, fuck you, Kyle Cartman. Yeah. So yeah, if you want a video in, I'll share a couple links in a couple of minutes. If you want to click on bullshit, talk, whatever, then cool. I'm always gonna try to be respectful to people. If I disagree, I'm gonna disagree though. I think that's, you guys kind of know that at this point. So let me just get to the chat really, really quick. I gotta figure out how to do this a little bit. I'm gonna share. Depends on if people call in. If people don't call in, I'm gonna share some film and talk about some of that stuff too. And then if I get really desperate, I'll do a freaking mock offseason or something with the JetX simulator. So we'll figure it out, or I'll figure it out, because I'm by myself. So, which is fine, because I could talk to a wall for an hour apparently. Let me just start from the top. Jan asked where the player reviews are. So fortunately for me, or fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, my wife usually goes with her friends to Florida or to Disney once a year. So this week I took a couple extra days off from work because fuck that. I'm going to get a couple days off too and have a little staycation at my house. So I've been getting a lot of film done. Hamilton will be out soon. That was done a couple weeks ago. Elijah Moore is done. Thibodeau is done. I've done Equano. I just had to do the actual show for Equano. I already did Neil, and I already started looking to Carl Loftus. So I have a lot stronger opinions on those guys than I did a couple of weeks ago, which is why I always preface certain conversations with let me watch them first, because my opinions on pretty much all of them have changed to some degree. And then I plan on doing, and I want to hear from you guys too in the chat, because as of right now, I plan on still doing, let me see. So you guys are going to get Elijah Moore, which I know, player reviews of current Jets, who gives a shit, but watch that review because his rookie year was a lot better than you think it was. And I really get into nitty gritty of route running because I really, really like breaking down receivers and corners. But you're going to get that one. You're going to get Kyle Hamilton. You're going to get Thibodeau. You're going to get Ike Ekwonu. You're going to get Neil, Carl Loftus, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Linderbaum, and Hutchinson. Those are the ones I plan on doing. Again, because I only have until about March to get these done. So I have another, 6 weeks to get these done. And then after that, obviously free agency hits, and I got to hit the main free agents. People want to see the Carl Lawsons of last year, the Corey Davises, and I only have a month and a half to do that. And bam, 10, 11, whatever draft prospects hit me right in the face. So it never stops, but I'm trying to get these draft guys done, at least the guys who are more realistic at picks 4 and 10. Before free agency, and so you guys can have kind of whet your appetite for those guys. And a lot of them are I only did 3 or 4 games, which still equals 30 to 40 plays for me. If they are drafted, there will be another review where I'll go even more in depth on some of these guys and get into more of their film. So that's where they are, Jan. They're done. They're just waiting to they're kind of on deck. They'll all be coming out very, very soon. Let me just scroll down. Let's see. Okay, cool. I got to figure this out. Liam, Mike, TJ, tons of gossip. Yeah, I got some topics to hit on too that came out today. Joe, do you think Adam Gase was paid to lose? maybe Stephen Ross realized he was so bad he didn't have to offer it to him, so he just lost anyway. But yeah, that's ridiculous with Flores in terms of like having multiple sources saying that he was paid to lose, and not only as a Jets fan, with the Dolphins being a rival, but football fan in general. Like I want them to be crushed in terms of draft picks, money, whatever it may be, because you obviously play to win the game. Like that's I don't really have to go too deep into explaining why that's really fucked up. And bettors and stuff like that. Like how are bettors not going to sue the Dolphins or betting sites are going to sue the Dolphins? Like we bet hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars on this team to win or lose, whatever, and they're purposely throwing the game. Which I don't think Brian Flores did. I think that's why I was kind of calling him out. But Flores is an interesting situation now because is he going to be hired? Like I know it's kind of screwed up to say that, but if you are like the whistleblower and that type of stuff, which I don't think it's happening around many league circles, if probably not anywhere else other than in Miami, but do you want to hire that guy? Like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I don't think that's right, but does that stuff happen? Could that happen? I could see him being kind of like blacklisted. Like, you're not going to get hired by anybody, which again would be really screwed up. But let's see. Yeah, Solo Joe, F you, Kyle. Kyle's he wasn't available to do it, and it is. I was thinking about doing this regardless. Like 1 week do it with Kyle, 1 week do it solo, where you guys literally take over the show. Like I answer because I don't get to answer every single chat because me and Kyle will talk for an hour and a half about one freaking player. So I want to give you guys a show. I'm going to test how it goes again and then see. But I want to give you guys kind of a show. I'm gonna be pretty busy in the future, which I'll reveal of what's good. I'm not having a kid or anything like that, not yet. But some things with work, they're putting some more on my plate, which I'm not going to reveal what that may be, which is crazy. But we'll see. Reviews that are already done, they should have been up this week. Yeah, they're going to. Hamilton should be out like today or tomorrow or the next day. Joe, save me. I don't want to do my college homework anymore. Taylor says, I've never seen you, Taylor, I don't think. And if I have before, I apologize. But curious about what's your college homework. I sucked at college and high school. I skipped class all the time. I think my accounting class when I was in college, went to community college, the problem was like my house was here, college was here, and my friend's house was here. And I was doing some stupid stuff in college, smoking, whatever. And I would just not go to class and just jump in my friend's window, wake him up, and we'd do what we did. And I think I went to 3 out of my 15 accounting classes, and I still passed accounting. I have no idea how I passed it. When I applied myself to pass, I could pass, but a lot of teachers were like, yo, you came at 3 classes, you can't pass. But that teacher was cool, so she helped me. Could take the test, a lot of stuff, and got all the work in somehow, which I was always like skipping class the first couple of weeks. Oh, no, it's fine. Then like October hits, then November hits. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm really screwed here. So hearing Aquanu in London, thoughts? I really, really, really like Aquanu. Maybe I'll share some film of him later. He has to fix some things in terms of his footwork. He tends to slow his feet when he gets into contact. He tends to shoot with both hands, which obviously you miss with both hands. Your hips are locked. You're really screwed. He needs to learn how to alternate punches, how to replace punches, how to extend with that outside foot when he punches. There's some things he needs to work on, but he is, in the couple of years I've been watching, and again, obviously it's usually first-round guys or whoever the Jets draft, he is the nastiest offensive lineman I've ever seen, ever. He's my type of guy. Like, there are plays where I could show you, and I will show you in the review, where the play is over, and he is literally full sprint chasing safeties. I'm not talking about like a guy who's a yard away from me. He's just extending towards them. There are guys who are running away from him, and he's fucking chasing them. It is wild. Absolutely wild. I really like Aquanu. I don't know who you're hearing that from in London, but the thing is, with all the stuff, and I always talk about it in the offseason, is it's smoke screen season. There is no reason to believe anything that comes out of one Jets tribe. One, because the Jets never release that shit, and two, that's usually just a general principle. You just don't believe that stuff because Joe Douglas can be sitting there, and again, he's pretty tightly sealed that the Jets organization. He could be sitting there saying that stuff to whoever he knows is a rat, whatever. They put that out there. And he's really hoping. Well, I hope freaking Drake London goes in the top 10 picks because I'm hoping that Carl Loftus falls to me, or Jermaine Johnson, who's rising up towards. Maybe not fall to him, but they're never putting out information without a purpose. They don't want teams to know that they're obsessed with Drake London. So why would they talk about that? That now there can be some speculation. Oh, well, they were talking to him a lot. Okay, well maybe they're talking to him a lot because they have a lot of questions on him. Like, there could be so many reasons for so many different things. I couldn't give 2 shits less about any rumor from anybody all the way up until April, late April. I don't care. It does not matter. I'll talk about it, and I'll share my opinions on how I feel about the substance of that rumor. Like, oh, Drake London at 10, I would be fucking furious, to be completely honest. Sorry for the cursing. I don't know. I'm not drinking anything. I don't know. Maybe it's just by myself. I'm overcompensating. I don't know. Let's see. Mike, I'll come talk for a few. My can doesn't work. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll share the link in a couple of minutes. I think I know how to do it. We'll figure that out. What's your opinion on Burks, London, and Wilson? Like Garrett Wilson. My opinion is if you trade down from 10, take one. I'm pretty steadfast, and this is a defensive heavy top of the draft. And the Burks, London, and Wilsons of the world, again, prefaced by not having watched them yet, which I plan to in some sort of fashion. They're not. If you put all those guys in the classes of the last couple of years, are they above CeeDee Lamb? Are they above Judy? Are they above Devontae Smith? Are they above Waddle? Are they above Jamar Chase? In my opinion, no. So I don't think any of those guys is worth the 10th pick. And you see so many opinions with these guys where, I'll get to the super chat in a second. I can't even see who it's from, but I appreciate that. But a lot of these guys are grouped together. Like there's not a consensus on the number one guy. So if they're all kind of lumped in 1A, 1B, 1C, do you really want to be the first team to take one of those people up there? I'm much more of the opinion of let's land a big time playmaker in free agency. Whether that be an actual free agent of Godwin or Robinson or whoever it is, or trade for Amari Cooper. I want that veteran receiver to come in, and to kind of solidify that group. If you have Cooper, Moore, and Corey Davis, you don't really have to draft the receiver obviously in the top 10. Second round, Dotson's there. Okay, fine, I get it. Fourth guy, cool. But I just don't think a receiver is separate enough from the group to be drafted at 10, especially when you consider the receivers who have come out in the second round the last couple of years. Like it's a pretty stacked position every year. And I don't think that those guys have separated themselves enough from the pack or the last couple of years packed to ignore other positions. Like this is a defensive heavy. So I would rather take an offensive lineman, edge rusher, linebacker there, depending on how high I am after watching them. But I'm more of the mindset right now, thinking that Hutchinson and Thibodeau are going to go, in the first couple of picks, and then the Jets end up with Icky. That's what I think is probably going to happen right now. Again, it's February 2nd, so it's really early. And then at 10, I'm hoping for one, and again, we'll see when I watch. I'm hoping for one of Karlaftis or Jermaine Johnson if he really does shoot up those boards, and I'll watch him soon to know if I'm high enough on him to take him at 10. But I can tell you right now, I watched Karlaftis today. I didn't finish all of it. I still have 2 games to go. Usually I watch 3 or 4 games. Well, now I'm starting to watch 3 or 4 games initially, then watch the rest of the season to get drafted, because watching the whole season is a lot of time wasted on one guy if they're not picked. But Karlaftis, he doesn't have the bend and some of the crazy flexibility and athleticism the other guys have. But and I haven't watched Hutchinson yet, but he has ridiculous motor. He has ridiculous power, and his technique is pretty on point. I really, really like Karlaftis. You can tell me right now, with whatever else is going to happen in the draft free agency, Karlaftis at 10, I'm signing up for it, because I really, really like what I saw. And again, my knowledge of all the other guys is pretty thin right now. But moving on. Okay, yeah. What's up, everyone? What's up, Scott? What's up, Snoopy? Appreciate Snoopy's always a big supporter. Celicio, what's up? I want AKF now at 4. Yeah, I'll show you guys a couple highlights, and it is littered throughout the film. It's not one play, it's not 2 plays, it's not 3 plays. It is all over the place. This guy is absolutely destroying people. I'll show that in a couple minutes. I don't have anything queued, but I'll show multiple plays after we get to some other topics. Then again, maybe like, not trying to copy Ryan, but if I do, hey, it is what it is. I like Ryan. Maybe like 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock. I'll start some video ins, just so I can get through my general topics that kind of popped up in the last couple of days and talking about some of these guys. Joe is going to eat Reaper sauce with me one day and do a mock draft campaign. Sure, dude. Like I can go get some stuff. I have sauce with Reaper stuff in it. I have sauce with Ghost stuff in it. I did a challenge in Virginia where you had to eat a bunch. Oh, actually, speaking of that, Jeremy, if you're still on, but pepper I survived the end hot sauce barely. See, I actually did do a challenge for that. It's like a bunch of freaking hot sauces. Then the only problem is now, like a couple of years later, I get like indigestion and shit if I eat stuff that hot. But Miami meltdown, so delicious. Yeah, Brady kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like fading the the Pats, the Bills losing in heartbreaking fashion, the Dolphins with all this stuff. I'm fine with that. 2020 draft was a massive failure for Joe Douglas. We can all admit this. Yeah, it's. We'll talk about the Becton thing too. If Becton lands, Hall lands, Huff lands, Deidre lands, and then maybe one of those other guys emerges as like a depth guy, it could be like a D draft class, but right now it's not looking good. Unfortunately, nobody will trust Flority's sacrificial lamb. Yes, I think the same thing. Jets should cut Ashton Davis. Yeah, I feel like because a lot of people just hype people up, and I'm usually the first one to go against the grain because I do this shit and actually watch and do the film stuff, and then I'm always like the post, like not like this. I don't really want to say it like that, but like the poster boy, like, oh, Joe hates this guy. Don't like Ashton Davis. I didn't like him in college. He was way overhyped coming out of the draft. Last year, people were shocked that Bless Austin was cut. I was telling you guys for years that the guy was terrible. So you just got to open your eyes a little bit and see. And Ashton Davis was absurdly raw coming out of Cal, and he hasn't really rounded out into form. So we'll see. Yeah, the question about JD being high on Drake London. No, I explained that already. I'm behind in the chat. I'm working through. Thoughts on Becton had to compete for a job? I'll get to that real quick. That's one of my topics anyway. I know it's going to be asked. Good. Why not? These guys don't just deserve to be walking into these spots, especially when the Jets, like, again, the whole thing with Becton, it's like a really long form conversation. I don't feel like having again because I've done it plenty of times. But like the quick, the Cliff Notes version is, he had some injury problems year one. Regardless, you could look up the stats. He played 13 games, 12 games, whatever it was. He came out of multiple of those games. The Colts game, he started technically, but he was out like the first quarter. Okay, so he had some injury problems year one. That's one. Two, he's already 380. So regardless of what you think about injuries or not, injuries in college or not, when you're that heavy, you're going to get more injured than a guy who's not, or you have a higher injury chance. So that's the second thing. Third thing, he got rolled up on. That was not his fault in the Panthers game. There's no way you can say, oh, he's injury prone and point to the Panthers. You should more point to the game to year one. With all that, you're hearing some inklings from the Jets staff, like questioning his weight or questioning his dedication. I don't have the exact quotes on top of my head, but there's some concerning quotes from them, worrying about Becton. So you and a lot of fans, like, ideally, he's picked at 10 or 11. Your tackle just walks in and he's the starting left tackle. But with the way that George Fant played, look, he played great last year. He was signed by the Jets by Joe Douglas, being told he was going to be a left tackle. He obviously was displaced by Becton. He went and played left tackle, played near top 10 level as a left tackle. Great. Okay. Now, hey, you're losing your job to the guy who got injured, and we're having some questions about him. No. And the thing with it is too, like, worst case scenario, if Becton moves to right tackle, who gives a shit? Like, the difference in importance between right tackle and left tackle to me is like very, very minimal. People put way, way, way too much stock into positional importance. In certain aspects, like, okay, left tackle, right tackle, that's very slim. Now, if you're talking about left tackle, running back, that's a bigger gap. But in general, people way overrate positional importance, especially from tackles. Both tackles are just as important. Obviously, one protecting the blind side. So yeah, it's a little bit more important, but it's nothing crazy. Jeremy question: how do you rank the top edges in the upcoming draft? Top 4 to 5 in order. Again, I want to watch them more. But I think Thibodeau's going to have the highest ceiling, so I'd probably have him 1. Hutchinson, based on what other people are saying. I'd have him 2. After that, again, just based on what I've heard and what I've done the little bit on so far, I would probably say Carl Loftus at 3, Jermaine Johnson at 4. I don't know 5 yet. I got to figure out 5, but I can tell you right now that based on the little I've watched, and I think when I watched, who was I watching? Aquanu, and I think his tape intersected with Johnson. I was pretty impressed by Johnson. So again, if you tell me that it's Carl Loftus or Johnson at 10 right now, I would sign up for that. Now, of course, you're the people who do mock drafts, and it's going to be, Jermaine Johnson's the 40th player. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's February. Guys like him are going to rise, especially when he's having a couple of impressive days at the Senior Bowl. Joe Solo stream, what's up, Nick? Afram, I saw him in Ryan's stream or around the Green Bean stream, so he found his way over here. So I appreciate that. I am a physical therapist major going for a doctorate, but got to take a break because I love your football opinions and views. Taylor, I appreciate that, man. My wife is a PA. Obviously, it's not the same thing, but she's a PA for dermatology. She was emergency medicine, but now she's dermatology, which she loves. Smoke screen season. Still have so much now between and the drafts. Because can I do that now? Can I highlight your guys' comments? Oh my god, let's go! I didn't know. I forgot I could do that. Look at that, sweet. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm gonna like the StreamYard stuff, especially if you guys want to talk. Hey, let's talk. Again, I'm gonna be super honest. And a lot of my stuff is typically based in the film stuff. So when people are like, "Dude, Bless Awesome was so good," I'm like, "No, no. Let's show you some plays." That's awesome. Okay, so I can't do. This is it now. Icky's gonna get named IHOP for all the pancakes he's making. Yeah, I'm gonna show in a little bit. I'm just gonna show a couple plays of him, and depending on what the title is, but some of them are gonna be like, "Holy shit!" Because I was blown away by his physicality. Blown away. He has to fix technical things for sure, but him over Neil. I watched Neil. To me, Neil is a very, very soft 360. I don't like Neil's game. The thing with Neil is if you're drafting him, okay, I think he's just a tackle. I don't think he has a physicality. I don't think he has the strength to stand up as a 6'7" guard. Don't get that twisted with he's not a strong player. He is. But 6'7", 6'8", that's like the tallest guard in NFL history. One of the tallest guards in NFL history. So you need to be absurdly strong, like Becton strong. Becton, Neil, completely different levels of strength. And just physicality overall. Neil's a little bit of a soft player to me. So if you draft Neil, okay, well then, are you getting rid of Becton? Are you getting rid of Fant? And I don't want to have to replace a position I already feel relatively comfortable with. Obviously, Becton, not necessarily comfortable, but still much more comfortable with Becton going to next year than Quincy Williams at linebacker or whoever at safety. So you know what I mean there. But with Icky can start at guard, and people will say you can't draft a guard in the top 5. Okay, I get it. But Quentin Nelson was drafted at 6. If you can tell me that Icky's going to be Quentin Nelson, which you obviously can't, but if you're pretty confident in that, take him. I think an All-Pro Bowl guard is worth the 4th overall pick. The only thing I'm not taking at 4 is a running back. Like again, Kyle Pitts, I would take him at 4. If Jamar Chase was in this draft, would you take him at 4 if you're a Jets fan? Yes. If Kyle Hamilton was generational, which I didn't see when I watched him, I would take him. So if Icky's there and he comes into the Jets and is an all-pro level guard in a couple of years, you don't need to move him to tackle. But at the same time, now he has that versatility just in case there are injuries. You can shuffle some guys around. He can play tackle a little bit. And maybe if Fant or Becton does not work out and they see in camp that he could be a stud left tackle, which personally to me, I think he's a better guard than a tackle. But if they see that, okay, well now he's the replacement. You have to get a guard because guard's typically easier to get than tackle. But I really, really like Icky. So, Andrew, I got hold on, let me just give 2 seconds. Okay, never mind. Okay. Shit. Okay. I'm really excited I can highlight comments. Like I'm moving into a new world. Andrew, what's up, man? Jets UK podcast. He's in our fantasy league. Always appreciate Andrew. I was on there a couple of months ago, right? At some point. I'm sure I'll link up with him again soon. What are some of your thoughts we can do to develop our young talent better? Luke says that's impossible without me being in there. I don't know. I know that with past like DB coaches and stuff like that, I could tell they were teaching them certain techniques I didn't like, but I really like what Tony Oden's doing. But I don't. That's impossible to tell. I can't tell you. Surround them with more talent around them, not just them individually. Like you need to start bringing some legit talent in here. So just draft better guys. Joe, is Karlaftis worthy the 4th pick, or is he just being, or would he just be a consolation prize? I would rather take Icky there. If you're telling me it's Karlaftis or Neil, I would probably take Karlaftis over Neil. Me personally. But if one of Icky, Hutch, Thib aren't there, I'd much rather trade down. So at 4, I wouldn't be thrilled with Karlaftis. I'll be thrilled with Karlaftis at 10, depending on what I think of the other guys. Joe, did you know you're going to be a cop going through school? Yeah. I knew that since I was a kid. People hate it. Some people hate it. Some people love it. It is what it is. I keep my mouth shut on this stuff about that stuff, but I love my job. I had the Rams winning the Super Bowl. Who is your pick? I have the Rams as well. I just don't think that the Bengals are going to be able to hold up versus the offensive line to be able to hold up versus Aaron Donald and Von Miller. I just can't see it. And I think if you put a guy like Ramsey on what's his face, Jamar Chase, or you do the Patriots way, and okay, you lock him up versus Higgins and you double Chase, and then you have that pressure inside with Donald and Miller and all those guys and Floyd. I just can't. I just can't see it. Anybody else get the feeling that Zach is going to blow up for monster season? I have much better feeling than I did in the past. In terms of his end to his season, I don't give a shit what the stats say. He was much better in the end of the season. And you get him, let's say an Icky, an Amari Cooper, and a Trey McBride, like the offense, which at the end of the year I think was like 18th or something like that, like based on numbers. You're looking at just Zach progressing, and then our young guys, ABTs, Elijah Moore's also progressing, and then you're adding on more talent. It could be, hopefully 12, 11, 10, something like that. Only problem with doing solo is when you have coffee, it's going to get cold because you're literally talking to yourself. Okay, moving on. I'm going to keep scrolling down. It is time for Jets fan to bar high. Yeah, 8+ wins. Yeah, I think the Jets are at 8-9 wins. I would be disappointed. Sorry, I can highlight it. I'm talking about that, highlighting it. So, Afram, appreciate it. I appreciate you being a new listener. Cool. George Karloff at 4. Yeah, Harry, I'm not with that yet. Again, I'd rather trade down because I think you can get a similar type of guy to him with the Jermaine Johnsons of the world. Again, assuming that I'm gonna like him nearly as much, but his film, like, I'll show that in a little bit too. I'm just working through the chat. I'll get through my topics. I'll show you a little bit of stuff, and then I'm going to and I'll share the link. And if you guys want to call in, that'd be fucking awesome. If not, it is what it is. I could talk myself for hours anyway. What do you think about signing Odell if he wants $13 million 2 to 3 years? $13 million a year. Either way, I'm not giving him 13. Either way, whatever way you mean that, Christian, whatever way, he's not going to want 13 for 2 to 3 years, and he's not going to get 13 per year for 2 to 3 years. So that's I don't think that's a realistic cap number. And with that being said, a little bit too much of the head case stuff, and I think he was always a little bit. I think he's simmered down a little bit with the Browns and with the Rams, and like the fanboy in me would love to see Odell come here, be a legit number one, and piss Giants fans off. But I just don't think he's the right fit right now. Do you think Icky play the right side? I don't think he ever has. I know the switch is not as easy as something. Yeah, that's the main concern. He's played guard before. I think he had like 300 snaps at left guard in his college career, or maybe just last year. I think it's just in his college career. He's played some left guard. It's not that easy to switch over sides, but I think he could do it. And there's really not a reason for that. Other than I think he's a super aggressive guy, which kind of to me shows he's a little bit dedicated and he would hate to suck. And I think he can make that switch. I also think that working into space and having to have a kick slide down and working again on an island a lot of times with an edge rusher is a little bit harder, switching from left to right side, where when you're in the interior, you're not working as in much, or you're working in less space. So I don't think the footwork is as different, if you kind of feel what I'm saying there. Only AFC team with the returning. Yeah. Supposedly there's a graph going around that Zach shows you the top 5. It's near that. And this is even before he started playing well. Like I think it's after the Titans game, to be completely honest. But some of those throws he made that game, and obviously you can have great arm talent and completely suck. But with that being said, it's like Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. There's some guys I'm going to obviously miss off the top of my head, but like he's definitely top 10. You could argue top 5. You really get into the nitty gritty of it. His arm is ridiculous. How quickly he can release the ball, the angles he throws the ball at, the angles are the position his body could be in when he's throwing the ball. It's his arm is easily top 5, 10. Moving on. The whole Becton thing is really getting out of hand. I don't know in which way Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings. Jermaine Johnson is better than Karloff this year, he says. Okay, yeah, maybe. He might be. I don't really know. Again, I've watched him one game of him, and I was really focused on Icky versus Jermaine Johnson. But Karloff, his technique is absurd, and his motor is ridiculous. Most of the passers in the NFL line up in the right tackle. So it's extremely important. Yeah, like there's plenty of guys. Like obviously you have the Carl Lawsons of the world who are right ends, but there's so many guys who are left ends running up against or going up against right tackle. It's not like NFL of 1980, 1990 where all the good guys went up against the left tackle. That's not the case literally at all. Do you still trust Adam Schefter? I don't really have a reason not to. He nailed the Brady thing. I just think that the Brady camp, if that's what you're referencing, Eagle, I think the Brady camp didn't want that to get out. He wanted to do it on his own time, so they refuted the reports, but he was still right in the end. So, yeah, he's one of the few guys I trust. Johnson's already flying up boards and haven't played the Senior Bowl yet. Yeah, it seems like he is. Okay, moving on. Also, create and put up banners, Joe. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out some stuff. No idea Jets 24/7 was talking about. I don't know what that is about. Who in your opinion is the best right guard fix in the draft? Jets and why? Right guard fix? Icky. Easy. Guy's a savage. Joe finding new things. Let's go stream about. Yeah. Joe is a noob in StreamYard. He'll learn it. Yeah, I'll learn it. I'm gonna learn it. Chrono Kenny. Neil will be a bust. So if you're talking about that 2019 class where they grabbed Becton, I would have, and these are my rankings. You can go back in the archives. I think for the Jets, I had it ranked. Wills 1, loved Wills. I had Wirfs 2. I had Becton 3. I had Andrew Thomas 4. He would, if he was added to that group, he'd easily be a 4 or 5. I don't like him as much as I like Becton, Wirfs, or Wills. Like, not even close. He's decent as a pass protector. Definitely overextends sometimes, but him in the run game, he is on his face all the time. And I don't see a guy like people are like, oh, he's a mauler. He down blocks the shit out of guys. They're always on the ground. I watched 3 games. I don't know if maybe he put 1 or 2 guys on the ground in those 3 games I watched. And it was like, I think I watched Georgia, Cincinnati, Georgia. I think are the 3 games I watched. And I didn't see really anything. Terrible technique from Neil. Yeah, the only thing that's really good about Neil. Yeah. Okay. Oops. So yeah, soft. I said the same thing, and I texted Scott Mason. So we usually text about like prospects and stuff like that. I'll just kind of tell him what I think. I literally texted him yesterday that Neil is soft, and I have it in my notes that he's soft. I don't think he's a very like gritty player. I don't really like him that much. The one thing, his passes are solid. He has good explosion frontwards and backwards. His lateral movement's not great, but his hand strike and timing and placement's usually pretty good in the pass game. Run game, it's pretty terrible. So moving on. Okay, 8:22. I'm 10 minutes. I'm catching up. If Jacksonville takes Neil, didn't they want to? It wasn't it Kevin O'Connell they wanted to interview, but they didn't request it in time or something like that, and they couldn't interview him. Like they're still a mess. Still a mess. I like Icky. There you go, Corona Kenny. We're on the same page. I'm not taking guard at 4th overall, especially not trading up for guard. Bad source. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Everybody has their opinions. To me, if you're going to get a stud right guard, an absolute stud, I think a guy who will be one of the nastiest guards in the league pretty early on and has Pro Bowl to All Pro potential, I don't see that being bad resource allocation because there are 2 guards on an offensive line. And right now the Jets have 1. LDT we have no idea about. So we're going to put who's going to start at right guard. So if you're going to plug and play Icky there, then I'm fine with that. I don't think it's bad resource allocation. It's not like you're grabbing another left guard. You're grabbing a right guard. McBride in the first round just going to trade down for 10. Yeah, I don't. He's getting a lot of hype. Maybe it's a Ruckert. I don't think that they're going to trade back into the first for him. Icky, if Hutch Dibs aren't there for you, that's where I'm at. We haven't had a nasty individual on the O-line in a while. They need the same D-line as well. I'm all for Icky at 4. Yeah, I'm going to show up a couple. I have to. I have to affirm what I'm talking about here. People said AVT was nasty. AVT has a little bit of nasty to him. A little bit, not even nowhere close to Icky. Icky is the nastiest offensive lineman I've seen in years. He hates everybody, and I love it. Would you rather trade down? Would you rather have Icky at 4 or trade down and get a Green at 13 plus McBride with an extra second? If you can guarantee me either Icky or Green and McBride, I have to watch Green. But assuming he's the next best guard in the draft, and you're going to guarantee me what people think is the best tight end in the draft, I'm taking a trade down to 13 with Green and McBride with that. But at the same time, I wouldn't be mad at Icky at 4 because obviously we don't really know how that all shakes up. I don't have to tell you that, Joe. You obviously know that as well. I think Jets could win 7 games if all they did was re-sign their guys. The additions they'll make should push them beyond that. Yeah, I'm thinking 8-9 next year. If they're 6-7 wins, it's going to be disappointing for me. At a certain point, and I'm not going to make the same Bengals comparison, 49ers comparison, but shit, like we have a lot of capital. We had a lot of injuries. Just with the guys we're getting back, you should expect at least another win or 2 at the minimum. Now you're talking about a 5-6 win team this year. You'd assume with those guys back, Carl Lawson back, all that. And now you add on another, $30-40 million we can spend in free agency. Don't say, the Jets have $60-70 million. Yes, but this draft class is going to cost them about $20 million to sign. So a lot of people will go into like JetX Simulator, all that stuff, which is great. But then the problem with that is they'll strip the cap down to like $500,000. How are you signing a rookie class? You need to leave at least 20 million. So they're realistically they have like 35, 40 million to spend in free agency, which is plenty. But and this is kind of why, like, going to the other topic of tonight, like signing Davante Adams, I get that. But with $45 million to spend, do you want to take up 66% of our cap we can use in free agency on Davante Adams? I don't think the Jets are there yet, personally. I get it. But I think they still need guards, linebackers, safeties, edge rushers, tight ends, obviously receivers. But to throw all that at one guy, I don't think they're there yet. So I wouldn't be happy with him at 30. You guys might think I'm crazy for saying that. I don't want that. Keep on moving on. Let's see. 20. I'm still like freaking 10. Mark Cooper happening with draft Arch in a second. I could see it happening if because apparently there's been some rumors about Joe Douglas like really being like focused on doing something like that, like making that splash. And if they want to send a third and like a fifth to take off his cap space for the Cowboys, which I think we'd have to absorb $16 million, and they would have to absorb 4 of that contract. $16 million for a guy who is a low tier one. $16 million in today's NFL is money for a low tier number one. So you're getting a low tier number one for a third round pick, and then you can go into the draft and you only really need, tight end, guard. I'd be cool with that. Obviously, I want a receiver later, but how many trades do you expect in round one and chances for the Jets? Yeah, I could easily see them trading down Sarah Skyline. From most likely from 10 more than 4, because I think 4, like, you get like one of those blue chip guys, but 10 I could definitely see them trading down to pick up an extra second or an extra third or something like that. And every single year, like, I don't know what year this hasn't happened, but how many times you've heard there's gonna be so many trades in the top 10, and then we get to the top 10, there's like no trades. It's like, okay, so I don't again believe any of that stuff. With a good edge and linebacker, I think our corners will be fine. I'm not there on Eccles. Eccles is pretty inconsistent. So cool with Hall, if that's your statement, but not with Eccles. Garrett Wilson or Treylon Burks. Okay, you already talked about that, Jay. Long story short, I don't think those guys are comparable to the top receivers of the last draft classes, and I think 10 is too high for a grouping of guys who are similar. Trade down to 15, 16, 17. Okay, now we're talking. 10, I don't see it. Zach's release and straight line velocity is top tier. Yeah. Would you extend CMG and Fant? Yeah, I would. I think people are too like trigger happy in terms of replacing guys. Fant's been solid. Obviously, he's 28, 29 years old. He doesn't have a lot of miles on the tires because he just started, relatively recently started playing football, and he was never a starter. So this is like his 3rd year going into being a full-time starter, or maybe 4th year now. And he's been solid. And CMG is relatively young, and I know he gets a little mouthy sometimes, but overall, he's a decent center. So people are always so quick, like, oh, let's trade McGovern, let's draft Linderbaum. Like, the problem is, like, and I get the whole, like, okay, let's get Icky and Linderbaum. Okay, I understand that. But then you're going to have basically second-year player Becton. You're going to have first-year player Linderbaum. You're going to have first-year player Icky. You're going to have second-year player ABT. That's a little bit too much youth in the offensive line for me. Do you think the Jets make a splash and major free agent sign during offseason and spend money? Yeah, I think it's going to come in the form of a receiver or a safety or both. Like, they could trade for Cooper and sign Marcus Williams. They have the money to do it. But I think they do. Thoughts on Cam Clark situation? Yeah, I want to talk. That's from. Let's see. So the thing that's disappointing about, let me pull this. I still have some plays of Cam Clark too, and it's disappointing because Cam Clark in college, he's a 4th round pick. I legitimately liked him. Like, when he was coming out, I was thinking that he was going to be hold on, let me close out of that one. Okay, thank God. Yeah, I thought he was going to be an absolute stud. So let me just see if I could just do this. Can I just share my whole screen? So again, I'm very new at the entire screen. Screw it. I'll be sharing the whole thing. Can I do that? Yeah, so I don't have to click on each individual play. Like here, he's left tackle on all these plays, but like Cam Clark was a nasty player. He's a left tackle, but he was going to be a guard for the Jets. Like, I liked Cam Clark. It wasn't just about the nastiness. There's obviously technique stuff that went into Cam Clark, but let's see if I can. Another one on the turf. Yeah, I remember seeing this one, or I remember talking about. You guys can still see my screen? I think. Hold on, let me just check my YouTube, see if you guys can still see it. YouTube, are you still here? Yeah, you guys can still see it. Okay, cool. Sorry. Again, just got to get a little bit adjusted. So you have to be a little bit patient with me with the StreamYard. Again, left tackle. Um, he's nasty. He was nasty, and I think he could have fixed or been had at least had a shot to fix the right guard situation, and he just left tackle again. He just obviously had the spinal injury. Like it sucks, but he was pretty good. Coming out of a Charlotte, so is what it is. Let me stop sharing my screen though, real quick, and I want to share some other plays too. Tight end, Burks yet. No, AJ Brown clone. Yeah, that's it. People obviously, it's the new sexy thing. Like Burks, big. He's AJ Brown. He's Debo Samuel. Is he? I don't know. If he is, great. That's fine. You're fucking awesome, man. This is great. Sweet. We're the best fan base. Agreed. Okay, let me just I'm just gonna go to the other topics real quick. I'm gonna just show some plays of Ekwonu and then maybe of Carl Loft. Just a few. But Neil, I don't really feel like showing Thibodeau. The reviews that come out anyway. Totally think the Jets need to look at Connor Hayward as a fullback. I think he's a perfect. Yeah, I'm cool with them looking at fullbacks and stuff like that. Moving on. Let me. What's the top? What are the other topics that I had queued up? Let me just see a second, and I'm going to share some plays, and then maybe we'll bring on some callers if you guys are down for it. That'd be awesome. If not, again, I can hit people in the chat. Go Bengals. I kind of want Stafford to win. I'm not going to lie. And for some reason, there's something sinister in me where like everybody starts to love one player in Joe Burrow, and it makes me not like them. I don't know why. It's just in my blood. I cannot help it. But with that being said, I think Stafford being in Detroit for years and years and years and years, and people talking shit about him coming to the Rams, and he had a couple of games with like boneheaded picks and stuff like that. But I would like to see him win a ring. I would like to see Donald win a ring more than anybody on the Bengals. So I'm rooting for the Rams. So I'm sorry about that one. Stafford deserves a ring. Yeah, I agree with that. Icky. Yeah, I'm going to show Icky in a second half. Stafford deserves a ring. Yeah, 100%. So let me just pull up. I think that's really it from the week, right? We had the Cam Clark thing. Hit on that. Fant versus Becton. Again, you want a coach who talks about competition. Everybody wants competition. He has competition. If anything, it's going to light a fire under Becton's ass. If he's going to be soft about it and tuck his tail between his legs, I don't want him anyway. Like obviously I want him, but then he doesn't deserve it. Like give him, let it be a fair competition. If Fant wins, hey Becton, wake your ass up, play right tackle. It is what it is. Clark retiring, yeah, I had that down. That sucks. Again, it is what it is. You can't predict spinal injuries. It's not like he was injured in college often. Brady retiring, talk about that, whatever. I don't really have to. We can all recognize he is the GOAT. He's the best football player to ever play the game. But I'm glad he retired. I think for me, with Brady, always hated him because he beat the shit out of the Jets, and he always hated the Jets. That one clip of him being drunk and throwing the Super Bowl trophy warmed me up to him. From like just completely hating him to hating him a little bit less. We talked about the Finns thing, and then the only other thing I want to say at 10 right now is kind of my opinion is it's basically for me at 10, assuming you guys are going to be there. It's almost like Jermaine Johnson versus Carl Loftus versus Sauce Gardner, who again everybody clamored over. What's his face? Stingley. And how many times I tell you, if you guys have been on Slime Tree for a while, how many times I tell you? Everybody's talking about Stingley. Something changes all the time, and now people are like, Stingley at 10. I don't know about that. And it seems like Sauce Gardner has elevated himself to corner one through what I've been hearing. Not been hearing. It's not going to get text on the side, but like draft pundits. I don't necessarily always agree with anybody's opinions, but with Daniel Jeremiah, he's usually pretty spot on. Like he was a guy to kind of have Becton rising up the boards initially, and now I think he had Sauce as like his fifth or sixth overall prospect. So he's probably hearing that a little bit too. So I think Sauce is cornerback one. So I'm going to do a review on him too. And Linderbaum might be an option if they don't get a guy early. With Linderbaum though, I think they would start him at center, and then McGovern would move to guard. So with that being said, I asked about that before, but you guys didn't. I don't know if you answered or if I saw it, but yeah, you're gonna get Thibodeau, Hamilton, Neal, Icky, Jermaine Johnson, Carl Loftus, Sauce, and Linderbaum. Those are the reviews I'm planning to do no matter what before the draft and before free agency, hopefully. If there's anybody else, I know people are going to talk about the receivers. The only problem with the receivers is if I do Wilson, I have to do Burks. If I do Wilson and Burks, I have to do London. And I don't think I have time to fit three more guys on the board. So Burrow was a third string at Ohio State. I'm rooting for him. Yeah, that's fine. This is BS by, I guess, a Bengals fan. I don't know. I like Linderbaum, McBride, Rucker. Yeah, okay. I like to see Trayvon Walker. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna show, I don't know exactly what plays of, let me just minimize this. Let me share my entire screen, and I'm cool with that. I don't really care. You guys can see what I'm seeing. Share screen. Share screen? Got me? Let's see. They do it. The Kobe Dean. Yeah, Dean and Lloyd. I want to see them. Receivers are deep, can focus on receivers in second jersey. Yeah, completely agree with that. You guys can see. These are the, I still have all of these guys too, which I have to delete a lot of these, to be completely honest. I delete them a lot every year. Yeah, so these are the guys I've done so far. More icky. I don't know. That was the first play I showed on Twitter. Shed, attack. Let's just see this one. I don't know what this one is. He's always gonna be left tackle. I'm just gonna click through some random plays in his play. I'm not breaking this down. You guys, that's for a different show. When I do the breakdowns, I'm not gonna be like, oh look, whatever. I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm just more of talking to you guys. Pancake. What am I talking about? Oh, right there after the play. Yeah, I want to show the ones I was talking about, like him, like literally running guys down. Mindset. Okay, these are probably going to be some aggressive plays. Let's say left tackle. Yeah. Dude, like he absolutely loves to destroy guys. Even after, like he just loves it. So I'm gonna keep dropping him. Left tackle right here. This is one where he chases guy. Oh no. This is like after the play. I think he falls and he's like still grabbing onto the safety. One, he just trucked that guy. And then I think he falls and like still wants to fight with this guy after the play. I'm gonna show a lot of these in the review I do. I think I'm gonna do the review tomorrow. Climb hand, zone block, zone drag, square, combo, lose gain, rip the cutoff block, open bucket, climb, cut off, climb, hammer. Hammer is usually good. Let's see hammer. Left tackle. Let's see. That's nothing crazy. I want to see the one where he chases a guy. I know I have it. I hope I can find it though. Block. What is block? It's gonna be something simple, isn't it? It's not anything crazy. It's a good block, which I'll talk about in the future and why, but that's not it. Trap, over aggressive, not over aggressive. Let's see what this one is. Left tackle. Oh, yeah. You can see it a little bit there. You can see him literally chasing guys after the play. Like after he knows the block is done, like he literally just loves throwing guys or hitting them. So you gotta love his mindset. I only have a couple more. I'm just gonna keep going through this. Oh, this is a wow play. What is a wow play I recorded? Am I not sharing my screen? Oh my god. Oh my god, I didn't do it. I did it all again. I can't. Sorry, guys. That sucks. I was talking the entire time thinking you guys can shoot. Can you see it now? Oh, fuck. Okay, I'll go through it again. Basically, I'm not gonna do anything crazy here. Hey, I was talking the whole time. I had all these reviews in here. You can see my screen. This is there. I save it. Blah blah blah. Brandon Eccles. Blah 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 blah. That sucks. I remember speaking of something like that. I remember is when I went from Jet Nation to TOJ, and now obviously I'm here, where I plan on staying forever. In my first show with TOJ, I got Mark Schofield on to do quarterbacks, and we did like a 3-hour review on Sam Darnold when he just got drafted by the Jets. I didn't hit fucking record. Oh, brutal. That was brutal. You guys are shit on me in the chat, right? Yo, Joey, can't see you. Share your screen. Share your screen. Yeah, my bad, fellas. And ladies. I saw a couple ladies in here before. That sucks. I'm just going to show it again real quick. I'm going to show a couple more. Just keep watching me left tackle. I'm not breaking them down. For the people who know the breakdown stuff, this is what it is. No way. Oh, my God. You guys can see again. Okay, you can see. Okay, here, left tackle. I'm not breaking it down. Just watch some of the. You're gonna see some of the nastiness that he has. You're gonna see it right after here too. That's nothing. Just it's gonna keep coming. Keep watching the left tackle. He's definitely you're gonna watch after here. That's really what it's about. And this stuff happens all the time with him. Mindset again. I forget what they all are off the top of my head, but right here. And we'll just watch. Drop the hammer. Bang. Bang. Keep moving on. I'm sorry I wasn't sharing, guys. That was a waste of 5 minutes of your time. I apologize. Right here. Nah, this one wasn't anything crazy. I'm just going to move on from that. Drop post. We're going to talk about all this stuff. Overset. Climb hands. Climb hands. What is this one? Let's see what this one is. Left tackle. Obviously, you guys know where left tackle is. I'm trying to break that down for you. Yeah. Yeah. definitely likes to see guys on their asses. Again, probably the most aggressive guy I've ever seen in terms of offensive lineman, cutoff block, open bucket, climbing hands. I don't know what climbing hands is either. There's only 40 plays, so I'm not going to show you a ton, but I'm trying to highlight like the aggression. Yeah, again, and it's almost every play, so I don't label it every time because it's expected that every single play he's going to be an asshole after the play or right up to the whistle. Climbing pancake. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep going. This is just to prove a point that he is a savage. Another climbing pancake. He's playing. Oh, this one. Yeah, he's again just destroys guys. It's really 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 fun to watch. I'm excited to do the full blown review on him. Left tackle again. That wasn't a pancake, but it is littered. Hammer. Keep going just to prove a point. And I'm sure you guys don't. This is offensive line highlights. I know people don't love it. I love the way this guy plays. And it's not only a little bit; it is a lot of it. Block. I don't know what this is. Left tackle. Impressive. Nothing crazy. Trap. You see guys in your face when you see me say that. Trap. Aggression right here. Oh, this is the one I just realized where you guys said we can't hear you or we can't see you. You're just seeing me after the play. He'll literally chase guys. He'll chase guys. Like he's not just, oh, this guy's a yard away from me. Like, just you're too close to my face. He literally will run guys down just to get another hit in. It is amazing. Overcommit, wide punch. Wow. This is a wow play. This is where I realized, right? Pulling right here. Dude. Like if you're gonna watch, I'll again do the whole review. Obviously trucks this guy. He trips, but he still sees the flash of the guy. And if you want to be like, oh, like whatever, oh well, he was falling down trying to brace himself. I think that he sees this guy and he tries to get another hit in and shoves his freaking helmet into the ground as he's falling. Like, where's the one where he absolutely destroys a guy where he's running? Alley, aggression. Let's say I'm almost done, guys. If you guys are hating this, it is what it is. But he's right here. Dude, see? That's the one where he's chasing guys. I think. Watch him chase the corner after the play. Like, oh, you didn't get hit enough. I'm fucking chasing you. Like, what? Who is this guy? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Alley, right here. Dude, yeah. Oh, there he goes. I'm curious to see your guys react. He sucks. All right. Trap forward, leave, move, beat inside. Okay. This is the last one I'm going to show of him. Pancake. Oh, there. Yeah. I have one of him running down the sideline, moving. Maybe this is it. Is this it? I just want to show that one more because I know I have it. Oh, this one, dude. This guy, I don't know who he is. Number 5, 15, 45. Him. He has balls. He has ridiculous balls. Watch this. Dude, that collision right there is you're getting hit by a car. Like you could see like just the shock it has in that guy's body. Watch it again, full speed. Ridiculous. I don't know why this guy hates his life, but he does. Man. And again, I'll get into all the technical shit, all that. But great, Karlaftis. Let's see if I have any crazy. So I just started Karlaftis. Let me just see. Bubble swipes. I think this is a good play of him who's back to back, like stack moves right here. Chip, swipe. Yeah. He impressed me with his technique. Read language, yeah, body language. He's really good at reading techniques, sets, 45-degree set, vertical sets, opening up their chest, forward lean. He's really really good at this. Buldrick. There's one where he absolutely destroys a guy. I want to find. He's right here again. No, that's not the one. But I watched Notre Dame and he was really good. Quick win, spin, bull. Let's see if this one is bull. I know he trucks somebody. And I was definitely more impressed than I thought that I was going to be. Shed, tackle, radius, effort, long arm, club arm over, bull, spin, quick win, cross chop. No. All right, that's it. You'll see the whole breakdowns of these guys. Let me just. Okay, cool. Comments. Sorry. I went. Let me scroll back up a little bit. I'm not sure. There had to be a couple people in here like, I hate offensive line. This is stupid. We shouldn't take guard anyway. I'm just trying to prove a point out how nasty that guy is. He's a savage. And that was only in 3 games I watched. That's a whole highlight clip. That's a whole no. Yeah, 3. I watched 3 games. If I watched the other 6 or 7, it's gonna be endless. Endless. Can't see. Yes, I know I suck. Did anybody shoot on me really bad? Let's see the worst comment I get. Can't see. No, nobody was that mean. I love that Becton's not guaranteed a job. Yeah, Jets mess. I agree with that too. Can't see your screen, Lamb. Yeah, I'm sorry, people. Yeah, people are not happy. Okay. Jojo. Okay, stuck in a loop. John. Jesus Christ. Okay. Why is this loading so slow? Sorry, I gotta get used to this stuff. I'm gonna start calling in like a second. If you guys want to call in, that's cool. If you want to do a video, that's also awesome. If not, I'm not overly I don't really care if you don't want to show Joe Noob in the house. You should see Zion Johnson. Yeah, Jets, Florida. That seems like the next one of the next guys in the next rounds. Obviously, it's like Linderbaum, Kenyon Green, first rounds, but Zion Johnson seems like that next guy. Like, let's say we weren't to land, Icky or whoever, it's not necessarily my preference. I'm just saying I do like him. If they were to grab Zion Johnson, 35, 38, I'm cool with it. Because he seems like the next guy. We should draft number 45. Yeah, the guy who's ridiculous balls. Dude's a savage. He's vicious. Oh, sorry. I didn't see Apple guy. We're not looking at QBs, are we? No, we're not looking at QBs. Screw that. Great show. You're the best on YouTube by far. I appreciate that, man. I know there's the shows where it's just film. Not really. There's not really a lot of just film shows out there. A lot of entertainment type shows. But I try to. Somebody said that in the last stream, which I appreciate. I try to tie in both conversation, entertainment, shitting on Kyle, sometimes drinking a little bit on stream, but also with film. Because if you don't really know what you're talking about, then why you even care about what I'm saying? And I get some people are just entertainment. That is what it is. Like that's cool. My comment is a permanent fixture. I'm on my mom's account. Who is this? She's now a Jets fan. I don't know who this usually is. But if you're watching me on your mom's account, your mom doesn't subscribe to me, so you must have known I was on. So you must be a big fan. So I appreciate that. He's a little too straight in pass protection. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I would say in general, his pass protection, the problem with him that I have is the fact that he double punches way too often. You double punch. If you miss a double punch, when you double punch, push like anything, double punch, hips lock. When your hips lock, you miss, you're screwed. You have to alternate punches, typically outside, inside. But when you double, it's a big risk. So, and he's not the best athlete in the world, but you put him at guard, I'm cool with it. Rooting for the Rams. Joe, click on Drew comments. We can't see the screen. No way you guys cannot see that screen. You better be able to see the screen, right? Yeah, because people are saying nasty and stuff. You better be able to say it. Okay. Okay, you guys saw it. Okay, that really scared to show me that I put up a comment and you just saw the comment. I was talking again. That would have sucked some major ass. Okay, this is great. You could see it, right? Okay, Liam draft. We should draft number 45. Dude, massive. That guy has ridiculous ball. Yeah, Collins. Yeah, I'm doing that in a second. He's Becton 2.0. Waiting to be injured. How? He's 6'4", 320. So that there's no correlation there. And he's even nastier than Becton. Becton would fuck up guys who were in his zone. Becton never chased guys. Zion Johnson's going back to school. I haven't heard that, Daryl, but if he is, that sucks. What's up, Joe? What's up, Mark? Sorry, Mike. You're late. Sorry, bro, I'm late. You missed me going over freaking some of what's his face? Icky. Not still done Karloftis. That's fine. You missed a porn 24/7 with Ryan and Matt being Ali last night. Missed the porn. I'm not sure exactly what happened with that. His feet are wild. Hands are okay in terms of Icky. His feet are wild. Yeah, I'm gonna go over it. So for my strengths and weaknesses for Icky right now that I have, which I'll round out this a little bit more, but strength, size, and again, this is all me. Size, power, tough. I didn't like organize this. You see that? So I might say stuff twice. Size, power, tough, effort, people mover, moves to second level well, doesn't get over toes on second level. Plays with good leverage and run game, grip strength, anchor, played OTs or played offensive tackle and some guard, doesn't chase during zone blocking, discipline to angles, attacks hip on combos, good vertical movement for size, grip strength. I think I already said that. Good with backside cuts. He's a very good cutter on the backside. Controlled hand placement, very strong base and core. Doesn't overcommit to blocks, aware of other threats and stays square for it. Good at picking up stunts, understands lose the game. I'll show you that with the film. Good job at getting hips around on blocks, active drag hand, uses overlap technique, plays with good extension, strong bridge, latch and screws, latch and screw, active eyes and pass pro, bully, comes off combos with good timing, traps guys, takes good angles to cut guys off, takes good angles on combos to overtake. Weaknesses I have, needs to play with more balance, oversets at times, over aggressive at points, allowing defenders to slip blocks, plays a little bit of forward lean, lateral movement, hand not on guard and pass pro. Hands are way too low. Got to, again, on guard, just right about a little bit below the chest. Guys will teach, like offensive line coaches will teach like pancake. They'll teach like the tennis ball, like the fake tennis ball there, just to have your hands moving and ready. Hands are low, hands are bad. It makes for an elongated punch, and it's opening up your chest. Where obviously, you don't see boxers fighting with their hands low. It's for obvious reasons. Similar type of thing with an offensive lineman. Shoots two hands too often. Needs to widen with his outside punch. Yeah, when he punches, he tends to step back. When you step back like that, you're kind of opening your hips up and you're making it a softer angle where you want to cut them off. Kind of, obviously depending on the set. Needs to work off insteps, climb tree when blocking, when driving up the field, work insteps. You don't want to be on your toes. When your toes are off balance, you want when you're driving guys on the second level, you want to be working off your insteps. Your insteps are more powerful, more balanced than toes. The balls of your feet, hands can shoot from too low, making punch time slower. Feet can stall when he punches. Yeah, that happens. Need to alternate punches. Already said that to you guys before. Could take bigger steps to get into anchor. Punches can land wide, can overcommit on picker of stunt. Feet need to stay more planted when he punches. So those are what I wrote down. I'll do that a little bit better when I actually write down the list. But that's what I have. So I don't know if I said I don't know what exactly I was even answering to. So that's what I have. I go through it. We'll break it down. If you haven't watched the film shows, again, it is what it is. This is all based on that stuff. So hopefully you've at least watched one or two of those as well. But the porn thing, that's great. I remember when I joined them for round 2 and 3, we were talking on day 3 or day 4, whatever it was. We really wanted what was his first name? Cox was it LSU, the linebacker? Brian, was it Brian Cox? I don't know what his name was. I think it was Brian Cox. We were talking about we wanted Cox like all night. We were just drinking. That's probably why. Or at least I was drinking. What are your thoughts on Garrett Wilson, Ohio State receiver? Again, can't really tell you. I just don't think what I've seen or heard that he separated himself from the other 3 guys, and I'm not taking him at 10. What are your thoughts on double dipping at tight end? Rounds 1 through 3, McBride and Ruckert preferably. Sign me up. Depending on who else is there, but sign me up. And we have like an affinity for Ruckert now because we saw him in Jets jerseys and all that stuff when he was young. His dad is basically, rooting the Jets on to take him. You'd love to see a hometown kid, a Jets fan, come dominate, play well for the Jets, and be a part of us like on the upswing. Like who can ask for more than that? Just like GVR. We need more GVRs. What Drake London rumor? IRL ask. People are saying that the Jets are high on him and all this stuff and talking about him, but that's bullshit. My point on what was he does not use a lot of bend and knee flex on Petrich, and maybe he stands too straight. I think I didn't see that. I think maybe that gets associated with him double punching and locking his hips out. Before he punches, his knee bend is fine. I like the analyst in you, James. I appreciate that. JD, yeah, it's again, whatever. I couldn't care any less. If Braxton Joe was playing with free agent players, yeah, $6 million a year is the highest I'm willing to go for Braxton Berrios. Anything over that, I'm not for it. Again, I think even 6 is high. Like I would really like it at 5 because ideally in an offense where with Elijah Moore healthy, he's a backup. I have to put my hand higher now because you guys can't see. He's a backup slot guy. He's a backup gadget guy. So you're paying for a backup receiver, which realistically he is. Like, yeah, he makes some tough catches, all this stuff. But if we get Amari Cooper, if we get whoever, Dotson, Burks, whatever, he's gonna be receiver 4 or 5. So you're not really paying him to be a receiver. A lot of the stuff he did at the end of the year, let's be honest, it was more designed than Braxton. It just is what it is. Plenty of plays of him just running in wide open for touchdowns. The main part of the money you're paying him for is the fact that he's a top 5 returner in the league. Last year, can he maintain that? Sure. On Icky, I see the nasty pancakes. Just don't want to pancake people. Teammates. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. I think Icky As a run block and average pass pro is more valuable this offense. And I agree with that. I'm a London fanboy. Jabril Cox. Thank you, everybody. You guys all know. Yeah, I already talked about it. It doesn't matter. Smoke screen season. Just have that implant in your mind. Nothing means anything. How much stock do you guys? Who? What's the situation? I don't. It depends. Like the thing with a lot of Senior Bowl reps, unless it's like just your best on best, like. And the thing in practice too, which some fans don't go, and just in general, people don't understand when they go to practice, is like guys might be working on techniques. Like they might be, okay, well, I'm a habitual outside arm shooter and pass pro on vertical sets. Today, I'm gonna try to shoot my inside hand, and I'm gonna try to shoot my inside. And people are like, oh my god, this guy's losing all the time. Yeah, he's doing something he's never done before. He's practicing it. Did you like Icky's film or ABT's film when ABT was coming out more? I was more confident in ABT being a very good player because ABT's film was so good. It was almost boring. But Icky's, I like it a lot more because he's so much more fun. So much more fun. Not feeling Ruckert, I'd rather double up on color in the fifth. 6'6" can block. Okay, yeah. I like the story of Ruckert. I don't really know how I feel about him as a player yet. I gotta see that. Can see JD passing on Kim. Yeah, he obviously could, but will he? I don't know. Curly Norman, Joe Douglas regime has been tight-lipped in operation. Any rumors? Yeah, exactly, Curly. Exactly. It's all needs to be said. Would you entertain this trade? You gonna type it? Come on, Jets, Florida. If we get a wide receiver in free agency, where do you see Elijah Moore fitting in this offense? And if we draft a receiver, who? He can fit anywhere. He played outside and slot. Like people think he just played outside. He just played slot. Again, I'm not really sure where a lot of people stand. He played more outside than slot, but he plays all over the place. Especially with this offense where there's so many condensed splits, and receiver stacks and trips and all that stuff. Like it's not like a generic, offense where it's always X, always, slot Z. Like it's not always like they change it up so much that it's the overstating of him playing the slot, or it's overstated that he plays so much in the slot because the positions are kind of all combined in this offense. When you have a tight split, when you have trips, what's the difference between Z and slot? Like it's all pretty much the same, which is why you need really well-rounded guys. But he can fit anywhere. He could play outside. He could play inside. He's great. I really, really liked what I saw. Again, going and watching back on him. Okay, let me just get to the rest, and I'll share a link. What do you want to see? Not be so strict to the rules. Like the fact that Bryce Hall didn't move for weeks and weeks and weeks was frustrating. I would say that when you have a guy like Foley, which I don't think he's gonna be back, you can't do square peg round hole stuff with him. He's a two gap run stuffing nose tackle. He shouldn't be playing 4-eye. He shouldn't be playing 3 as a penetrator. He can some reps, but on rundowns, you're struggling in the run game. Bill Belichick was great because he runs hybrid schemes where you'd have guys in the front line, you'd have a penetrator, you have 2-gap players, but you'd still have all the gaps schemed up for. But let Foley be Foley and let him 2-gap. You don't just have to penetrate a 4-3. You don't just have to 2-gap in a 3-4. You could do a mixture of both, and they need to be more flexible with their scheme. That's something that I really need to see from them next year. Jets number 10 and third rounder for 18, Lattimore. Jets number 10 and a third rounder for 18 in Lattimore. So you're saying basically trade down from 10 to 18 and Lattimore in a third. That's a hard question. What is his? Does he have a contract? Jets, Florida. Even if he does, you're talking about one of the top corners in the league. Trade down 8 spots and a third. I would do it. Because what's the value of moving down 8 spots? Does anybody know that in terms of the trade value chart? What is that like a second? So you're trading like a second and a third for one of the best corners in the league at he's probably 25, 26 years old. I would do it. That's just off the top of my head, though. I might change it if I really sit down and think about it. Joe, I feel like if you take Jody and Salah face, Lions and supporting quarterback, yes. JD is drafting Gardner. Cool. If he's number 1, cool with it. I was huge on Rucker, but don't love his film watching playing space. Well, hopefully we disagree. I don't know though. I can't tell you, Chris. I'm not going to tell you something I don't know about. Brief clips on this. He like a drum. I heard he was doing really well, Chrono Kenny. Where'd you see? What clip was that? In general, I've heard he's one of the risers. What do you think of SC's Kings League? That's what it seems like he's going to fit. He seems like he's a little bit of like a freak of nature type player, if I'm not mistaken. So I could see him being a second round pick for the Jets. That seems like what his value is, but again, I don't really know. Film reviews coming soon. Vert tips. Yes, Hamilton should drop tomorrow. Hamilton should be out. Hamilton, Thibs, Neal, Aquanu are all good. They're all like done. And Karloff, literally after I'm done doing this, which I said 10. I don't give a shit what time I end. I'm literally in my own house alone. My wife's gone. I'll do this until whatever. But when I'm done with this, I'm watching the rest of Karloff. So that'll be pretty much ready to go soon. Kennard. Yeah, I saw that one too, Carly. He got shit whipped on that play. Apparently, Falele is getting shit whipped a little bit too much for a guy who's 382. If we get Schultz or even Ridley, who do you think will be our number one option from 1 to 5? Like, you gotta clarify that for me, Sebastian. In terms of like 1 to 5 and on the Jets offense already, or like number one option in terms of like drafting guys. And Schultz and Ridley is different. If it's Ridley, he's our number one. If it's Schultz, Schultz would probably be the third. You're still going to target Corey Davis. And people, again, have your own opinions on him. He was signed to be a high-end number 2. He was a mid-tier number 2. He didn't have a lot of drops throughout his career. He had a lot of drops last year. It'll round out, I believe. You're not going to see as many drops. He got paid $12 million. What's his face from the what is it called? Got paid 12 and a half. Guy Eagles drop. What the hell is his name? I forget now. I always bring up that reference point. Whatever. He was paid to be number 2. He was number 2. He's gonna be better next year. But with that being said, I would still target him more than Schultz. So Schultz will probably be 3. Ridley would be 1 though. So if that's what you were asking, then I'm not sure though. Moving on. Last year, Darnold. Yeah. Also, Jody see the interview with Ulbrich. He admitted they didn't adjust the defense on purpose and still a new defense, and the player said that's fine. They're gonna take some lumps. Hopefully, with more experience, they can do that more because it was frustrating. I'm not gonna. If you told me that right now, okay, they signed Reed. Oh, we'll sign safeties Reed and Marcus Williams, draft Gardner. I don't think they're gonna dedicate that much to safety right off the bat. I could see it being Reed or Marcus Williams or Bates. I don't see end though. I think they have too many other needs elsewhere to sign 2 safeties, and the chances of us getting like 2 of the top 3 safeties. What's the chance of that? You know, very very minimal. Evan Neal. That's my answer for that. From the guys I've watched, I think he's getting too much hype. I honestly, to be completely honest, and I said honestly to be completely honest, that doesn't make any sense. I think this top of the draft is not as strong as other top of the drafts, which is unfortunate for the Jets being high. But like Thibodeau, all these guys, they're not the Bosas and the Chase Youngs of years past. Which I think you guys have probably heard at this point. So I'm sure this is not the only thing you listen to, which is true. I believe that. Like Thibodeau is great, but he's not some generational edge rusher. Like he has plenty of questions. He is very very raw. And something that I know, I just saw Jeremiah bring it up, but I could show my note that I wrote 4 days ago, so it's before Jeremiah said anything. His effort's spotty. His motor does not run hot always, and that's concerning to me. Very high. Okay. If you were high on before the season rankings, Hernandez the other day. Yeah, I was disappointed in rankings. I expected more of him. I did. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that. Corey Davis, Mr. Butterfingers. Yeah, the thing with Davis, though, is prior to this year, he didn't have a lot of drops. Nelson Aguilar, thank you. Appreciate it, Elias. Elias? I think it's Elias. Yeah, he was paid $12.5 million. What did he do with the Pats? You know, Corey Davis got $12 million. That's about number 2 money. Kenny Golladay got paid $19.5 million, $19 million by the Giants, and literally didn't do shit. Hader Ali, yeah, man, it's been a while. I haven't seen you. At least in a couple of weeks, couple months, right? Nelson Aguilar, yes. Who wins the 4-yard dash between you, Nania, and Sabo? Me. Every single day. I have to do that shit for like the police stuff. Like, I'm not gonna say what I might be coming for my police stuff, but I have to be in shape for it. So I'm always running and doing the bike and stuff. So Nani is too skinny, and Sabo is like, what? Pushing, he has to be close to. No, he's like 38, right? Maybe. I don't know. I'm putting money on me. I'm sorry, guys. The other owners trying to pit us against each other. I appreciate that, Broadway Jets. Dick. How do you think our linebacker core is going to do? I like Quincy Williams, but I want him better in coverage. CJ play well. Yeah, they need another linebacker, Sebastian, 100%. Quincy on good teams not a starter. The thing is, like linebackers are always going to flash a lot on broadcast because they're going to be making a lot of tackles, regardless if they suck or not. They're going to make a lot of tackles. Quincy made a lot of flashy tackles, but then what did he do with the other 55, 60 plays? Like he was very, very inconsistent. He's not a starter. He's a backup level player, which is okay. With that, it's still a good pickup. You're looking at a backup linebacker as a waiver pickup. Okay, cool. High on it. I'm high on it. I'm not trying to get to anything. How do you feel about Devin Lloyd? Trying to get all the questions. I can go to the call. I go to share the link. Not sure yet. To be completely honest, Xavier, I'll watch him. If he's worth the hype, if everybody's saying he's the best linebacker in the draft, take him at 10. I'm more cool with it than some others. Again, I think people overrate positional importance. Like people say, oh, you can't take a linebacker at 10, but with all the receivers kind of come out in the last couple of years, you have to take a receiver. Like, how does that make any sense? To me, it doesn't. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Curly. You're paying for his special team stuff, not his offensive stuff. If it was between a top safety and the top corner in the draft, who would you draft first? You're talking about Kyle Hamilton versus Sauce Gardner. If they're both sitting there at 10, that's a really hard question. Hamilton is not generational. I'll say that right off the bat. He has really good athleticism. He's not generational. Way too many lapses. Want me to show you some of that? I'm going to show you some of that real quick. I showed it on the last stream. Do you guys want to see that? If you want to, I'll show you for like two. I'll show you like 4 or 5 plays of Hamilton. I'm not going to break it down. I'll just show you. Use your own eyes. Sabo's 38. What? Yeah, I think Sabo's has to be late 30s, right? I might be wrong. Yeah, let me know if you want to see that. Then I'll let you see some Hamilton plays. He's not generational. So you're talking about him and Gardner. I would be leaning Gardner if he's worth the hype and Dan Jeremiah is right. He's like the 5th or 6th player, best player in this class, and like they're on an even level. I'm taking corner over safety all day. Dotson's like super, not like contested catch, but super like freaky with contested catches and stuff like that. And Bell's a little bit bigger, right? Bell, I think some people are saying like he's a lot of contested catch guy, and that concerns me to some level because that means they're not separating. So if you had to say right now, Dotson or Bell, I'm Dotson trade, but that can completely change. I don't know. I wish my department kept. Oh, Curly, you're in there. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna happen yet, but basically, long story short, they want to send me to some base. It is what it is. I might not do it, but they want me to send me to what's called Mosert. I don't know if you know what Mosert is, but it's basically my county SWAT team. So that's we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I think so. Maybe Sabo has a speed equivalent of old man strength. Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he does, Mike. Yeah, I saw you today. You had a Twin Knights ride tee on. Who are you? There's sometimes I see like, do you go to my gym? Who are you? Great man, thanks. I love him. Yeah, I'll do some of that stuff. Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean. I've heard Lloyd is the better player as of right now. Dean, I noticed he got hyped a lot as Georgia was playing in the college football playoffs. That always like concerns me a little bit, but he was always up there. So yes, film sesh. Show it. What am I showing? Oh, okay. Hold on. Jets really need to make a rebuild now. Davis are great. Yes. Another question. If Kalen falls, we get him at 4. If not, okay, yeah. So you weren't here before. My number 10 right now that I'm hoping for, if let's say it is Equano, I am hoping for one of Jermaine Johnson or Carl Offis at 10. That's where I'm sitting right now. I like James Daniels. I hope they can sign him. Have you ever pulled over a Jet XVR? No, and the thing recently too is like the last couple of years we have to wear masks, so I'm always like this. So the chance you'd recognize me with that and like maybe a hat on, like you're not gonna notice. So no. You had to choose, would you extend Foley or Huff? Foley's gonna be $9 million and Huff's gonna be like 4 or 5. Foley I don't think is a fit here. I love Foley, I just don't think he fits. That's unfortunate because I really do like him, but let me just 2 seconds. I'm going to share this, and then I'll get to the chat in a little bit. I'm going to share a link and take maybe a call or two or whatever. Was that a super chat that Adrian said? Oh, sorry, we have a super chat now. I got to get to it. What is your opinion on the safety situation after they sign a starter in free agency? Do you believe Jason Pinnock and Ashton? No. Pinnock, his 2 plays that he had that were good were actually really bad. The process where he got to there was really, really bad. It was against the Jags. If Trevor Lawrence was on time on both of those throws and they weren't ducks, he was going to get burnt for a touchdown or a really big play. Pinnock was not impressive. I'm sorry. He just wasn't. I don't give a shit what PFF says. Ashton Davis, absolutely no way. They need 2 safeties. Cam Clark retired today, really high. I talked about it before. I showed some plays. I was very high on Clark. I liked him a lot. Yes, TJ, 1,000%. What's the reason for all the injuries of who? Don't put that into the universe. don't do that. Yes, Jay, 100%. I can show you. I'm not going to show you those plays. Go back a couple streams ago, where I was showing with Kyle. He was bad in that Jaguars game. So let me just show those Hamilton plays. I just want to show you guys real quick, and then I'll share the link. Hopefully you guys can see this time. Share screen. And shame on you for guys who didn't see this before, because I already did this on a live stream. I already did this before. Hamilton. Where are you? There you go. Off coverage, too aggressive angle. Again, go to the actual breakdown for me doing all this, doing it snap by snap or frame by frame right here. You guys can see this stuff is not good in your own eyes. If you need me to explain it to you in the future, I will. This is not a good play. That is not a good play. Again, really simply, without having to go crazy into it, you need to get over the top of this wide receiver, get his hips around, and force him to cut back inside or hesitate. And then you have guys who are pursuing from the backside. There's no reason for him to try to undercut that receiver. There's absolutely no reason. He's not going to get there. Get over the top. Bad play. And again, these are all going to come in only 2-3 games. But let me see. Cove beat on corner. This is another really bad one. You guys can see, right? Okay. Here, cover 2. He cannot get beat, especially when one of these guys goes short. Once one of these guys goes short on cover 2, he's pretty much manning up the only vertical threat. Vertical threat typically in like defenses is like 10 to 12 yards. It could be a little bit deeper depending on the exact defense. But once one guy goes short, he's pretty much manning up this guy. His leverage right there, so far and high inside, is really, really bad as compared to the DBs or to the receivers' leverage. He wants to, if anything, weave, get over the top. Weave is basically just a back pedal where you move laterally and stay over the top of him so you can match a break. He's way too far inside. So they run smash variation, burnt. Can't have that. Moving on. Almost beat. Won't show that because he was almost beat. Actually, let me just show it real quick. What was this one? He's right here. I don't know what this was. Yeah, quarterback was looking there. He was open, clean pocket, whatever. He's beat. We're not going to go over all that other stuff. He was beat there. Beat off coverage. Almost beat. Tackle for loss. Switch assignment. Missed tackle. What is this one? Like, there was way too much bad in a 3-game span for me to be excited about him. He comes from the top left here. I remember this play. They run counter OF. Counter OF. He's coming from down here. Can he be missing big tackles like this as a safety? Generational? No. Athleticism, great. Want to develop him? He's your pick at 10? Okay, fine with that. 4, absolutely no way. I'm completely out on that train. This kill shot right here. He's a robber. I don't know if it's like 3 robber. I don't know exactly. I forget exactly what it is, but he's robbing anything across the middle. He's looking at the passing strength right here. Number 3 first. Number 3 crosses. He's going to jump it, lay a hit, do whatever he's got to do. Locked into the quarterback. 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 He's just looking back at the quarterback. Never matches the break. Like, you could look back to the quarterback. Once he starts looking, find the route. You got to find the route. Doesn't find the route. Completely misses. Basically never sees a receiver. Completely misses. Near first down. That should in college just needs to be he needs to absolutely light this guy up or pick that ball off. Like, there was too much of this. And for me to be like, yeah, generational. So let me stop sharing then. I'm gonna share the link. Hopefully that works. Do you fear if Jamo gets picked up by the Pats? Who is Jamo? Share what a Nazarene our wasted picks. Hold on, let me just keep going. I'm sharing, right? I'm sharing. Hopefully tomorrow. Cody takes linebackers. If he takes him at 10, I like him enough. I'm fine with it. Sherwood, yes, I hated Sherwood coming out. I didn't like him at all. Very limited athleticism, even for a linebacker. He's not an athletic linebacker. Nasruddin, he is a little bit more of like a freaky guy, but he's super raw. So Nasruddin's going to take some time to develop. So I don't think Nasruddin's a waste pick. I think Sherwood is. Yeah, they're coming. Boston trading for Cooper, cool with it. Give him a third and like a later pick. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I did that. Oh, JMO Crowder. No, I'm not nervous. Howard Streamer Oregon. Well, it's good. I like highlighting comments. I'm going to see if this works. Jameson Williams. Yeah, that's every safety is not the same. Obviously, I don't have to describe. I know people are like if we drafted is the running back from Florida Pierce, like if we drafted him or the edge rusher from Florida, like people are like, oh my god, it's Zuniga. Oh my god, it's what the hell's his face, Michael P. Ryan or the other edge rusher who just went AWOL and we cut him and then whatever else happened to him. I forget what his name was. Who actually really liked his college film, but just didn't put together. Jameson Williams, ACL. Okay. I'm going to see if this works. Again, if you want to call in, do. If not, I can literally talk to myself. But I don't know how this works. Invite. Copy to clip yard. Is this how you do it? Who knows how to do this stuff? Copied. What is clip? This? No. No. Hold on. The Bama wide receiver Williams. What about him? Oh, Jameson Williams. I'm not that worried about the Pats anymore because I am. Obviously, I want them to go to our division, but there's plenty of players who I wouldn't like the Pats to land. If the Pats land, anybody. Like, I don't think Jameson Williams. It's not like he's Jamar Chase. Like I'm not fearful of Jameson Williams. Bang 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 Rams Nation food. Chikai play. Yeah. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm rooting for the Rams, so that's cool. Copy the link and paste it into the chat. All right, let's see. Okay, that's what I did. Command, copy, right? Post comment. Oh, there it is. Is this gonna work? Just X Factor. All right, click on the link if you want to bullshit. Let's bullshit. I've literally never done this before, and typically I'm not like an interviewer. Like, oh, talk about what are your feelings on this? I'll try my best. Just don't fricking. Somebody's gonna do something fucked up. Sure. Jody, do you think JD calls and runs for any players? Let me feel late round pick for Demario Davis. Yeah, if it's a late round pick, I would do that like 1,000% for Demario Davis or like Marshall Lattimore. A lot of people are on the Michael Thomas train, but we're talking about like wanting to bring guys who are high character to the Jets. You really want Michael Thomas, who like I think he's good, but I think he's a little bit overrated because the whole slant boy thing. Drew Brees can only throw 5 yards. Like he was heavily targeted because who else is on that team? Like I like him, but not for what people want to do. Yeah, I'd be cool with that. He's better than Marcus Joyner. All right, let's see if this works. Elias, I see you in the studio right there. All right, let's see if this works. For the first time ever.
Boom, you got it, man.
You're there. What's up, man?
How's it going? How about you?
Doing all right. I appreciate you being a first time video inner of of JetX ever. So
excited to call in, man. I'm excited. I'm the first.
Yeah, Elias, you just popped my cherry. So I appreciate that. So what's going on, man? I know you've been in here for a little bit. So is there anything that you need to call me out on? Is there anything you agree with or anything you want to hit on?
No, I usually agree with your stuff. You really know what you're talking about, so I kind of take your opinion most of the time. But I have a question. How do you rank the three worst to worst? Sam Darnold, Ashton Davis, Bless Austin. I know you're a big fan of all three, so.
Bless Austin was the worst for me because one, he talked shit like he was so good. Like right before he was traded, didn't he talk? Yeah, didn't he talk about like how good he could be? Like he'd be one of the best corners ever. And then like a couple of weeks later,
he quoted in a press conference. He says, "I could be one of the best corners in the league. I'm the real deal." So I think I tweeted at you. I chopped it up and like made a song out of it and took some of your clips that you posted in that big thread.
That was you. That was you on Twitter.
Hilarious. Okay,
yeah. So
and I had I posted up on YouTube. It got a lot of views, and a bunch of Seahawks fans were like, "Let's go! Welcome to Seattle." It's like you guys are.
They literally that's like the epitome of like what's wrong. Like a lot of the shit that's wrong in this country is like, oh, headline, he's great, and then they like share it and they didn't even watch it. So Bless because he talked shit like he was great, and the problem with Bless too was like the fact that people talked him up, like Jets fans, like, oh, he's legit.
He's a good tackler. I heard that all the time.
Yeah, his year one was so good and all this stuff, and then like fighting that fight, what got so annoying. So definitely Bless, easily number one. And Ashton Davis and Darnold are kind of tied. Like it's like, I didn't really hate Darnold. I hated the people who were standing for him and saying that we could just grab a quarterback whenever. Quarterbacks
who's there this year? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we were to keep Darnold and we were finished at 4th this year, who are we taking? Like that was my argument. It's exactly what kind of played out. So that was annoying. And then Ashton Davis, again, I do some of those shows with Marcus Coleman, who obviously played in the NFL for a while, for 11 years, and we watched his film and like we were laughing like at how bad it was.
I saw that video. He was just staring at the quarterback the whole time, and he does that in the NFL.
Exactly. So Jets messing with this guy is a musical host on another channel. Okay, cool. I don't give a shit. You can go on whatever channel you want. Who cares?
Yeah, it's another Jet channel. I did their intro song for them. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Who cares?
No.
I didn't claim Elias. I don't know why that's.
Yeah.
So with that, everybody's talking about the draft right now. What's your ideal 4 and 10?
I've been thinking Aquanu for a while now, and now seeing those plays you threw up, I'm 100% sold. That dude is fun to watch, man. Now I'm not concerned. I'm just curious about how he's going to do going from left tackle to right guard. I know he's played left guard. You worry about I call the Orlando Brown effect when these guys want to play left tackle and they're going to, throw a fit about it like he did and request a trade. So hopefully he's, about it. Like he'll be down to play right guard, but yeah, man, if you get him either, Fant or Becton at left tackle, AVT, McGovern, and then Fant, whoever's on right tackle, that's a legit top 10 line if he pans out. So I'd be into that. And then at 10, I'd be down to go for a corner. I know everyone's always saying, the Jets. Thank you, Afram. I know everyone's saying, oh, it's D-line, corner doesn't matter, which is absurd in my opinion. You look at these teams that have these stud lockdown corners, look at the Rams. Everyone just says first thing when they think about that defense, they think about the stud pass rush, but you also think about the lockdown corners. And, you can get away with, not the best corner play, but it's nice to have. And we, outside of Bryce Hall, Eccles isn't a starter. He's a good depth guy. We don't have a ton there. So I'd be into a corner there, but Karlaftis, I'd be into kind of just best defensive player available if we're going to go offense at 4.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing with, I don't know where that came from. Again, I'm not super involved in social media. Usually I'll tweet something and then back up, and not really be all about it. But I don't know where the corner isn't important in Salah's or safety isn't important. I don't get it. Tell me why a corner in cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, cover 6, cover 7, cover 5, they exist. Why aren't they important? I don't get that whole argument. And the thing is, did Salah have an ideal situation in San Fran? No, fuck it. We don't need corners. They had Sherman too, and Sherman was still good. They prioritized him. So if you're comfortable with Eccles, that's a mistake to me. So they need to add another corner, number 1. I don't even think that Hall could be a number 1 at this point. I just think in terms of he's limited athletically. So
and ball skills, he's got none.
No ball skills, yeah. And towards the end of the year, he was getting beat up a little bit, even by
rough game against Tampa for sure, yeah.
That and Gabe Davis beat him up a little bit too. So they need another corner. So you're saying Icky, but you're not going to take him. You'd probably prefer Thibodeau or Hutchinson, right? Or
if they fall, which I don't think is happening.
Yeah. Okay. And then is there anything you prefer in the second round? What are you a Trey McBride guy, Dotson guy?
Yeah, tight end's cool. If you get a receiver, let's say a Chris Olave ends up in the second round, I know people are saying, oh, that's crazy, but you never know. We thought Elijah Moore was going to be a, first round pick. Guys can fall, so something like that. I don't want to go receiver at 10. I don't, like you said, compared to, I don't think it's, as big of a need as some people think. I'd be interested in trading for a veteran. I like Amari Cooper a lot. But your question about, why people think the corner, I think it's because they mentioned in the press conference that they agree that they, build through the trenches and all that stuff. But that doesn't mean that build through the trenches, just, discard the secondary. It's not what it means at all.
Yeah, no, and they're still going to pour premium assets into it too, because the line isn't finished, the D line isn't finished. So you could build with corners. I don't get what the lack of interest in corners is. Reverse fine with Eccles at this point. It obviously they prefer the defensive line, but at the same time, both sides help each other. Having good corners so they can get the pass rush gets there. That's been the argument for the last decades. What's more important, the secondary or the defensive line? I'm more defensive line guy than the secondary. but still, secondary matters. Like, why are we brushing off cornerbacks like they don't matter anymore? So
Yeah, especially with a lot of quick passes when the passer isn't going to get there every play. So, when you got these, quick passes and, if there's that one play where the pass rush just doesn't hold up, guys getting cooked, you need to prevent that.
yeah, somebody said
Same thing with safety too. People are just disregarding safety, saying it doesn't matter. It matters, man. I mean, look at some of the safety play we had this year was fucking dreadful. Ashton Davis cut him. Honestly, I'm on that train. What's his face from Red Wine? The dude who got cooked against Robbie Anderson. Like that shit matters, man.
Yeah, I was there. That was not fun. Yeah, that was a bad one. But with that being said, we have another person in the studio. And by the way, somebody, I want to pull this up too. I wasn't like disagreeing with you. I'm more with Elias than probably the person who thinks the line sucks. The problem is like people will see an offensive line get beat once or twice, and they automatically assume they're really bad. And of course, like when your first impression of this offensive line is Carolina week 1, it's going to carry over, and people aren't going to like really adjust their opinions on it. But with that being said, like towards the end of the year, when McGovern and all these guys were healthy, they were an average-ish offensive line. And now you go into next year with your first-round pick from 2019 back. You have obviously ABT going to year 2. You have McGovern another year in the system. You have Fant another year learning how to play tackle. Like he's pretty fresh to the tackle position. And then you add Icky. Like this can be a top 10 level offensive line.
Yeah,
so
and look at the turnaround when Tardif came in. Like that's a weak link can do so much. As bad as GVR was, can do such bad for a line. So you take one guy, and Laurent Duvernay, he's a decent player. He's not a world beater by any means. So you replace him with an absolute stud, and that elevates your line even more.
Yeah, obviously a weak link. We saw what happened. Like there were so many plays where, like, I don't know if I put up a play of him versus the Patriots, and like he looked the entire
I remember
ball.
that.
He just so bad. So the fact that you went from a really bad starter to just like a below average starter in LET, look how much the run game improved. So people are saying like guard doesn't matter and all this stuff. Again, you can't draft a guard in the top 5, top 10.
Do the Colts regret it? Exactly. Do the Cowboys regret drafting Zach Martin high? Like if he's a good player, he's a good player. As long as it's not a running back, a kicker, or a punter.
Exactly. Same exact thoughts. Elias, I appreciate you for lack of a better term, pop my cherry first time on. So thank you for that. And I'm gonna bring on the next person. I'm gonna figure out how to drop here. So this might be a little bit.
You can either hover over like my name in the studio, hit leave, or click the 3 dots and hit kick out.
Look at that. I'm gonna kick you out, Elias. I appreciate it. Hopefully you call back in.
I'll tune back in on YouTube. Appreciate you having me on, man. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. All right, cool. We have another guy. I'm going to bring him on in 2 seconds. A newer listener to my stuff, I believe. And then I'll post the link a couple of times and see who's going to join. But I don't even care if I just get 2. That is cool with me. Call him. We can bullshit, talk, argue with me, do whatever we got to do. Our next is Afram.
How are you, Joe? Can you hear me? Not much. I enjoy your show. I enjoy your take. You give a different aspect, more of a scout versus your desire as a Jet fan. But
it all started with the like fan stuff, like Jet Nation Radio. I started with that and doing Jet Nation Radio. Like I remember it was me and Brandon Down, like 2015, and we were talking about like only the top 5 players on the roster. Like every single week, I'm like, screw that. Like, I want to learn about more guys. And then we started talking about more guys. I'm like, oh, well, I want to learn why he's good, why this guy is not good. And so I started like watching coaching clinics and taking notes and doing all this stuff for, a reason. So I appreciate that you appreciate, me doing that.
No. I respect anyone who wants to take the time and better understand the aspect of the player, what they can do and can't do versus the hype of a player.
You have no pressure.
That doesn't matter to me. I mean, I've been watching this game for a long time. I just enjoy watching it. But if we don't, I always thought we were never going to have one of the top 2 guys to drop to us, no matter how many mock drafts or algorithms they write there. But at first, I thought it would be Neil. But after this last comment by Salah with the competition with Fant, it does 2 things. You either pressure Becton to play much better, focus much better, but it also satisfies the promise that, hey, you can play left tackle. Now you can win your job. let's I'll be fair to both of you. You can win your job, and it's a win-win because if you move Becton to the right tackle and you have Fant on the left tackle, now you can focus and get Icky now at 4 if he drops you versus getting a guy who's like you said is gotten more hype versus a guy who's a little bit more nasty. I always enjoyed a guy who can play nasty on the line because I think it's contagious. I mean, you saw Mekhi would be like that. I remember the Joe Fields days, and Joe Fields and that whole line was strong, and they didn't take any shit from anybody. But I'm looking for the 10 is the one that intrigues me. I feel that one he may trade down. Or be willing to trade down. The question is, who wants to trade up, right?
That's the thing. Everybody always assumes like, oh, well, this team's going to trade up. It's like, okay, for what? Like that team doesn't need a quarterback. Typically, it's for a quarterback, or for obviously like the Jets, like
right. So
ABT.
We got to hope that more of these quarterbacks get more hyped up, and get right now. What is it? Kenny Pickens? Pickett's he's like the one who's getting more hype right now.
I think Carson Strong is getting some hype too. And us as Jets fans, we need to just keep hyping people up because
absolutely just keep getting. And I don't think McBride is not going to last to the second. I think he's getting just too much hype that he's going in the first round in the low 20s because you're gonna listen. Tampa's going to need a tight end. Who else? That if we reach out for Schultz, Dallas is going to need a tight end. So
the Packers might need one. Obviously,
exactly.
You have who else? The Bengals, if they lose Uzuma and he just got injured, they could use a tight end. Like there's plenty of teams at the end.
What do you think? I know Ruckert is a good story, but what do you think about? Was it Jake? Was it Ferguson? I think it was, and Wiedemeyer, because Wiedemeyer seems to be ranked up there as well.
Yeah, he was the guy who like at first was like seemingly like tight end 1, and then McBride started coming with the hype. So I don't think that Wiedemeyer, whatever his name is, would be like unwilling of the 38 or the 35. Right. Again, I always preface that stuff by saying like I gotta watch him. I can watch him and hate him and never want to drafted by the Jets. So I'll figure that out, but I don't think, based on what people are saying, I think they'd both be deserving of that. Yeah. If McBride is gone, it seems like Wiedemeyer and Ferguson seems, just based on how other people are talking about him, more like a 3rd or 4th round guy. But I'm down for two tackle or 2 tight ends at this point. But with the whole tackle thing you're talking about before, so you said you like Icky, like you're down for the physical guys. And again, I've watched a good amount of like these draft prospects the last couple of years. Especially the top guys, he's the nastiest guy I've seen in a while. But with that being said, a lot of people are like, oh, well, Neal. The thing about Neal is he can't play guard. He's not physical enough. You don't see 6'7" guards. It's just not going to happen.
No.
So if he were to be drafted by the Jets, like, does that make you automatically think that they're going to trade one of Fant or Becton? And like, what would your thoughts be about them getting rid of one of those guys?
The thing is, you got to have some sort of insurance. I mean, I think everyone's a little worried with Becton, but I think more worried about him being in shape. Listen, guy got his knee rolled over by another player. It's not like he had the blocking somebody. It was a freak accident, and it happens. The previous year, I think it was with the chest and the shoulder. Who knows what happened there? I don't recall or remember reading anything in his college days where he was injury prone or anything to that effect. So, but these days, anytime you hear injury, the guy's injury prone right off the bat. Oh, and the guy makes a spectacular catch. All of a sudden, he's the best receiver out there.
It's a highlight world.
It's a highlight world, is right. Yeah. But we also have to take into effect. You got a 23-year-old, I think, back then, and then you got a guy who's going on 30 years old. Who are you keeping?
Yeah. It's I don't think they're going to do either one of those guys. I don't think they'll trade either one of those guys.
I think they like what they got out of Fant. They can get maybe another 2 years out of him, and then finally, bring in a center next year maybe, and another backup, but they need to focus. This team has so many needs. It's unbelievable. It is. No one realizes how many needs, because not only do we need starters, we need depth, and we're lacking in both, and it's tough. And I think you had said one time, I think on Ryan's show, I watched that you need about 10 players, I think, right now to get in, and maybe next year two or three players, and you really have a team that can compete.
Yeah, they have a lot of holes. So.
You're talking 10 players this year you got to get. So what's that tell you? You know, and this whole draft is going to be depending on what he does in free agency, right? We can talk all we want up, to the gills. All of a sudden, he starts getting guys that filling in holes. Then all of a sudden, that whole scheme of what we think is changes automatically. But I know he's a big lineman guy. I saw something where he was this guy. What is this? Trevor Jennings or something like that. Another lineman.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Penning.
Oh, you're talking about Penning?
Penning, yes. I'm
Penning.
sorry. Yeah. That he's another one. They say he's nasty, but it looks like he might go in the first round. But he may go in the 20s also, that I'm seeing. So so once again, when you start dropping down, who's coming up to drop down, and you're taking a chance by dropping down, you don't know if he's going to fall in your lap either. So it's going to be. I look forward to this draft and this free agency. I want to see how much he wants to spend, how much he is going to spend. I think he needs to. I think he saved some money, because I think he knew this year he might get better prospects for what he needs versus last year. I knew he wasn't gonna go overboard for Thuney. I don't believe, from what I'm seeing, he'll give the extra year to guys in the 25, 26 year old age. The higher age guys, he's given 1 year contract, and even Corey Davis, I think he gets out after this year if he wants to. So these third year, the third year seems to be his way out of these contracts. So, and that might be his thing long run, is just to give 3-year contracts and just keep rotating guys. Everyone talking about, I want this guy for 10 years. Well, I think this day and age, you can't when the guy reaches his contract, are you going to pay him that much money? There's going to be a team who has that money, who wants him, and you got other players to pay. So it's you can have a ton of blue chip guys, but you got to better have some blue chip money to pay them when the time comes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even with Tooney and all that stuff, people just assume that, Tooney got whatever it was, $17 million a year with Kansas City. If the Jets offered him $17.5 million, he would have signed with the Jets. It's bullshit. He could have not wanted to. You have the state tax difference. You have so many different things. Family not wanting to live there, all that stuff. But we have 2 more guys in the in the studio waiting. So Afram,
no problem.
Appreciate you being the second caller. And 2, with that, little bit of pressure on you, just with before you hang up. Number 1 target in free agency. You'd be happier than a pig in shit if the Jets signed who?
I want Schultz right off the bat. I want that tight end, secure that tight end, because I can live with the receivers I have, but I need a tight end. I need that particular weapon, because based on the kind of offense that LaFleur wants to run, he needs that good tight end that can catch and block. So that completes. You can get away with the other things and hopefully grab a guy in the draft on free agency after to compete for number 1 position. But you need that tight end. You just can't ignore it at this point.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest gripes with Joe Douglas, was the fact that you're going to be running heavy 12 personnel offense and you don't bring the tight end. Your best tight end is Croft and Griffin. So that was a massive oversight last year. So hopefully address it this year. But Afram, I appreciate you calling in, and hopefully the next time we do this, you do it again.
No problem. I look forward to it. Be well.
Awesome. So have Mike and then Taylor in the background here. Mike's going a little bit longer, so Taylor, I see you. I apologize, but Mike's here. So hold on, let me grab him real quick. Mike, just the voice chat. Mike, what's up, man?
Yo, what is up, Joe? How you doing, man?
Is this Mike the moderator?
This is Mike from the neighborhood that we hear all the same fireworks and stuff like that. Yeah,
yes,
man.
Yes, you know my family.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What's up, man?
So of course, show's awesome, and beyond that, so with the 4th pick, I was kind of curious, maybe who your top 4 that you have right now, like who would they be? As far as like, it seems like Aquanu is number 1 for you, you know? Who do you have after him?
Well, no, it's so even though for like I might prefer Aquanu's and don't people have to like listen for just like an extra second after I say this because people are going to jump the gun. Even though I might like Aquanu's tape more than Thibodeau, just because edge rushers are so much harder to find, I would take Thibodeau over Aquanu just because you have to take the swing on that guy. So it's probably Thibodeau. Hutchinson, just based on the reputation he's earned. Again, I'll watch him pretty shortly. So it's those 2 guys at the top. And then it's Aquanu for me. After that, I really don't know. I'm not comfortable with Neal there. I'm not comfortable with Hamilton there. I'm not taking, obviously, a receiver at 4. That would be crazy. I think the next guy, if he's matching the hype he's getting right now, which he's really rising up again, especially if you trust Daniel Jeremiah, which for the most part I do, former scout, has those connections. Maybe Sauce Gardner, but I think that's a little crazy. I don't think I would take him. But with that being, I would have to trade down. Like, so it's those 3 guys or trade down. Past that, I really don't have a 4th guy who I'm like overly interested in. Sauce Gardner, Carl Loftus. I'm not sure. Is there a guy that you prefer if they can't?
No, and actually, I feel like exactly the same way. And that's kind of where I also agree with you that I think pick 4 if you're not sold. If there's that number 4 guy that is in that same range as the 1 through 3, and if the number 4 is a guy like Gardner or somehow they see something more in Hamilton, then you've kind of opened my eyes to him where I see the flashes and you see the failures. But you look at the slot value there, and it's like, are you going to pay a young guy who is just not ready day one with really like just sky high upside, the $7 or $8 million that is going to be required out of that, 4th slot? Especially, I mean, like, even if you're trading down to Washington and all you're getting is, say, a 2nd round pick, and you think that Carl Loftus is there or a Jabo, I kind of like Trayvon Walker as well, someone like that. For me, I just don't. I think you can kind of read what Douglas and Saleh want to do. They say, hey, we're going to build in the trenches. Now, if that trench guy isn't there, that wouldn't be there at 12. I don't really see them. I don't know what they would do, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of with you with Gardner, where it's just a little too high. We've seen like cornerbacks like the guy who went to Detroit last year or 2 years ago, where they just don't work out.
Yeah, obviously has to be deserving of that hype. So is there at 10, is there a guy that you prefer to grab there? Like
So I'm on the wide receiver train with that just because
Mike. Why?
Okay, I mean, if you can get a better wide receiver somewhere, I'd say go for it.
Okay.
I just think that Wilson's development is that important, and if that you look around the league, the quarterbacks who are successful have 3, 4, 5 weapons. Right now, of course, you have Davis, you have Moore. Berrios at the moment is slotting at number 3, which like I'm not in love with at all.
No.
And you would certainly hope that they get a tight end somewhere, whether it be Schultz or and I don't necessarily. Schultz would be great, but does he have better options? Maybe like is Dallas going to tag him? I mean, he's certainly not a certainty. And then that next tier of guys like Njoku's got his flaws. Tanyan, like I kind of like him, but how much of him is a product of Aaron Rodgers as well? We don't quite know that.
That's why I got to look into it too, because like how much of a product, like the opposite of that is like how much is a product, or is Tanyan a product of Rodgers, and like how much is a product, or is Njoku a product of Baker? So like we have to weigh those things. And like the thing with Schultz is like, yeah, we all want him, but if we all want him, if the Jets want him, does that mean that the Washington Commanders now don't want him? Like who's to say that we are the ones to land him? And at a certain point, like he's not, he seems good, but I don't think he's one of these like top tier guys. So if he's pushing 12, 13, 14, $15 million, are you really going to take that?
I agree. I agree 100%. Like I think that whoever gets him is going to overpay for him, that he's not going to, he can be worth the money while still not being as good as what the money is, like, it's your situation. Like, of course, like the Jets are so desperately in need that if you have to pay $11 million and that gets you the best tight end, or $12 million, like you say to yourself, okay, as long as he performs, we can live with that, but
Yeah.
like, is he necessarily a $12 million a year player? No, I don't think so, personally.
Yeah, I want to look into it more. He seems like he's a little bit overhyped, so I'd be like willing to pay, a pretty penny for him, but like I'm not going to go overboard. And the thing what you said with the receivers is like I get the need for a receiver, but if that receiver, if you're talking about, Wilson, Burks, London, whoever it may be, if they're below, like if you compare them to the years past and they're below, again, Chase, Waddle, Smith, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, all those guys,
Right.
Are we forcing a pick because we want a wide receiver? Like I don't think drafting for want is ever a good thing. Like take the best player available. Like, ideally, if it's a receiver, great. If there was a Chase in this draft, take him. But if the guy's not fitting of the 10th pick, I'm not just going to reach for a guy because I want a receiver.
And I do agree with you there too. Something I would say only encounter to that is one that I don't necessarily know that any of the. I think there might be one or two that might be, like all pro level or Pro Bowl level maybe. Who knows? I don't. I'm not like a huge film guy like that, but with that said, I think that it also falls into what is the strength of the draft? What is, and not necessarily positional strength, but like the overall quality of the draft. Say in last year's draft, the top receiver in this year's draft would be no better than the 35th best player in last year's draft. Well, maybe this year's draft quality is to the point where he's the 12th or 13th best player in this draft.
Yeah, it's and that's why for me, and I'm going to drop you after this because we have two more guys in the thing. But that's why for me, I want to hit offense in free agency because I don't want to go into the draft and say, oh shit, we really need a number one wide receiver. Oh shit, we really need Trey McBride at 35, 38, and then he goes before then. I don't want to force that. So.
And that's why I say, tight end in free agency, like wide receiver. If you end up with, Davis and Mims and whoever your third is, you can like kind of live with that, but you can't live with what's current at tight end right now.
I don't know if we can live with Mims anymore. That's that. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see about that. But and that's why like I'm more for and depending on who your kind of like your flavor is, Ridley, I'm not down for it, but like the Coopers of the world, Allen Robinsons, one of those guys. I obviously again want to look into some of those guys more, but I want a number one receiver, tight end in free agency, so we can go into the draft and have the flexibility to do BPA. Because like you said, like I'm not saying you're saying this because if there is an elite receiver or two, you're not reaching at 10. But I don't want to be put in a situation where I have to reach at 10 for a receiver because we need that guy. So.
Right. I'll quickly end with just the guys like Ridley and Stingley. Like, just cross them off. They're not coming here. That's my opinion, personally. Like,
I don't think JD's that guy either. So, Mike, I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Joe.
Time to do this, whenever the hell this is. I don't know if it's going to be 2 weeks from now. I don't know how often I'm going to do this, but I think I'm planning on it the way it's going right now. So, hopefully, I hear you from you next time.
Good talk to you, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. I'm just going to hit the chat really, really quick. There's something I wanted to hit in right here. Tony G, yes, I am. Got 3 people in the queue now. I appreciate you guys calling in. Definitely. Washington Commander. Let's see. I don't know how you guys feel about that, by the way. I don't necessarily love the name, but we're never going to like the name initially. Their uniforms don't look that bad from the initial look. Browns could see Njoku as their dude now. I don't know what that means. He's a guy who interests me, though, because like you look at Odell going from Cleveland to Rams, he's doing a lot better now, and I think Baker Mayfield's terrible. So let's see. All right. Next. Taylor Muir.
Yeah, what's up, Joe?
What's up, man? I don't know if I know you from the chat. I don't know if you're first time. I don't know what it is, but I appreciate you calling in.
No, I was watching this 24/7 Jet stream with Ryan, and I saw your stuff, and I was like, I should probably check in. Finish my homework, and it was like, gotta talk.
Are you the guy who's doing the college homework right now, who wants to get away from that, or is that a different guy?
Yeah.
Different guy. You're saying okay. So what are your thoughts? I know obviously you're talking a lot about the draft. That's the most popular thing. But we'll hit free agency before we even talk about the draft. So is there a position you're targeting in free agency? Is there number one guy you want? Are you on the Schultz train? Do you want Ridley? Like how is Taylor's like perfect free agency kind of starting off with like some of the big names?
Yeah, well, obviously the perfect free agency would start with Dalton Schultz, but I don't think we're going to end up getting him. He obviously is he's the biggest name on the tight end free agency. I don't know if he signs with the New York Jets. I know a name that PFF came out that like would be a need for the Jets would be Gerald Everett. He'd be maybe a decent option and maybe drafting one. And I think they signed one of the high end safeties. I think it ends up being Justin Reed or Marcus Williams. I think they fit the scheme perfectly.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the camp of right now receiver, tight end, because again, I want to give Wilson that no matter what. Like you don't want to have to reach for receiver at 10. You want to reach for McBride, Weidemeyer, or whatever are gone by 35. So you never know how the draft really shakes out. Oh well, we have to take the next best guy. Like I can't be in that position with Zach Wilson, but he needs that talent. So hit that in free agency, especially considering you like look at a lot of these top guys like the Deans, the Lloyds, the Sauce, all these guys. Like it seems like the top of the draft where the Jets are picking, it's more defensive heavy, so you don't want to have to force offense. Again, one of those receivers. I know receivers are sexy. I know the highlights are great, but I don't see them being worth the 10th pick right now. So I would like to again Robinson or Cooper, something like that. How do you feel about a Cooper trade? Would you be? Or it seems like that's pretty polarizing. People either they hate that idea or they love it. So I can understand if you're on either side of it.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea. I don't think we end up trading for like the mental issues. I don't think that works itself out in New York, of all places, like have mental problems about playing football. I don't think DK Metcalf is going to be up for sale. I think Amari Cooper is going to be the number one receiver to like to trade for, kind of like Stephon Diggs, similar to that kind of situation. And I think they end up trading maybe a high second rounder or maybe a third rounder for him. It would be a surprise. And then even I was going to hit your point on like Allen Robinson. I mean, that would be even decent as like a high tier 2 or like even a low tier 1, but it would be way cheaper. I mean, you would be paying him as a higher tier 2, but as playing a 1. So that'd be interesting as well. I agree with you about like the wide receivers in the draft. I think not that they're trash, but it's like none of them are Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, C.D. Lamb, even Henry Ruggs before he did into that trouble. But you know what I mean? Yeah. But like, so I hope they end up trading back. And I don't. A lot of people like hit on this, like Nakobe Dean and Devin Lloyd, but I don't think linebackers as big as a need as everyone makes it seem. With CJ and Quincy, and maybe Nasruddin develops. I don't know. That's how I feel. Even if you can get like, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know. Do you know who Daniel Falele is? He's
Yeah,
like
the
a
tackle.
huge offensive tackle, and he's like bigger than Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, 6'8", 380, whatever he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how like people feel about like trading like really far back, and then maybe picking up that like tight end Trey McBride, or even like picking him up in the second round. So I don't know. There's a lot of options they can go with. I'd personally like going offensive line in the second round and trying maybe to get an edge rusher in that top 4 pick.
Okay, so they're sitting at 4. Thibodeau is gone. Hutchinson's gone. Are you taking Carl Loftus there? Are you taking Jermaine Johnson? Like, or are you gonna try to trade down? Do you like somebody else there? Because like you're taking Neal, and Neal kind of like blends itself into the conversation of Falele, because if you're drafting Falele, he's early second, mid second, whatever he's going to be. Like that's his projection right now. Some websites are even put him in the first round. Now you draft a tackle. Are you trading Fant? Are you getting rid of Becton? Because a second round pick investment's a lot for a backup. Like I've said a lot. I think the Jets need to prioritize backup tackle, especially with some of the concerns about Mekhi Becton's injury history, which really stems from. But with that being said, what's kind of your plan at 4 if the edge rushers aren't there? At least Hutchinson or Thibodeau, who are projected obviously to go to top 3.
Right. So I don't see David Ojabo as a fit. I could be wrong on that, but I just don't see him as a fit for the New York Jets. And Jermaine Johnson seems like a little too high for pick number 4. So the only guy I see fit for an edge rusher wise would be George Karlaftis. Like you said, I agree. He has a high motor. He's a good energy, good hands type of guy. The only thing I wonder is if he would be a good fit for the edge specifically for the Jets. I don't know if he's specifically like edge instead of like a DN type of material, kind of like Ian Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau would be.
He's fine there. He's 275. He has plenty of power. If anything, he's probably a better fit than some of those guys just because of his size. Like he's super powerful. The only problem I see with him, like as a top 4 pick, I like him a lot. It's just Thibodeau and Hutchinson have a lot more higher ceilings where Karloff is a little bit limited athletically. So people will steer away from that just because you want that really high ceiling where Karloff is. Listen, he almost reminds me of like this is only because of like this is what I remember from a couple of years ago. What's the rusher from the Bengals? They signed him from the Saints on the one
Hunter
blank.
Henderson.
Yeah, like you can have a high motor guy who's technically clean, who can get you 10, 12 sacks a year, and 10, 12 sacks a year to the Jets would be one of the best seasons we've ever had. Like it's not like we can't be nitpicky when our best guys get like 7 sacks. So I wouldn't be mad at Karlaftis at 4. I don't know if he's necessarily worth it, but that's kind of like it's kind of the shitty part about this draft is it's not top heavy. And of course the Jets have 2 top 10 picks, but it is what it is. But we have one more. We have another caller in the background. So I'll ask you before you go. Number 4 and number 10. What's your kind of like your dream, but also like realistically? Like obviously it's not gonna be like okay, we get Thibodeau and we get Hutchinson. Like obviously that's not.
Yeah.
So
I would go number 4 dream is Thibodeau, and then number 10 I go Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, hey, and I'm fine with that too. Like people will hate on you for double defense because again everybody wants to help out Zach Wilson, but what if your situation they get Cooper and they get Schultz? Then nobody can be mad at you. Like the thing is, like we're all saying what they 100% should do in the draft right now, but we still have a whole free agency to go. Like there's still $30-40 million to spend in free agency. So we have so many holes right now, but at least 4 or 5 of them you'd hope to be plugged in free agency. So I'll be fine with that if that were to happen. 2 of the best defensive players in the draft. So Taylor, appreciate you. Hopefully you call in again next time.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to watch.
Oh, I removed you too early, Taylor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's going to watch something. I don't know. I'll never know what it is unless he answers in the chat. Taylor, I gotta know what you're going to watch. I know the Nets are playing right now. Maybe he's a Nets fan. I don't know. Nets are playing the Kings. They lose to the Kings. We're screwed. Solomon, I'll bring you on in 2 seconds. I just want to see this really quick. Just go. Jets need edge rusher 1, guard 2, tight end 3, linebacker 4. Safety is also a massive need, Tammy. Tammy, I believe you're a Niners fan, but they literally don't have a starting safety. They don't have one on the roster. So edge rusher, while it's a need, like if you're just talking, obviously edge rusher is more is the higher priority position. But if you're talking about just singularly, I was talking saying that word. Safety is a massive, massive need. They have nothing. They have Ashton Davis and nobody. May is gone. Joyner's gone. Elijah Riley in terms of contracts are gone. So they have one player on the roster, and he is a 4th-string special team guy at best. Just signed Allen Robinson. Cool with that. Don't take a receiver at 10. I with you, Jared. Tony G. Jared live a little. I'm with him. I'm with him though. Are you going to pass target to tight end for that much money, or he's not a game breaker 3? Yeah. I didn't read the whole thing, but I kind of agree with you there. And is he a as good of a blocker as some people think is? I'm not 100% sure. West Coast offense and a 12 heavy personnel offense is yes. Bump on the McDuffie question. You asked something about, I know Jeremiah mocked him at 10. I have to watch more to know, but if he's worth the hype, I'm fine with. Like if a corner, if it's McDuffie or Sauce, cool. I'm fine with that. Moore is a borderline first round talent. Mims was not yes. Sam, you might be right. I heard it was 16 and the Cowboys have beat 4. So I might be wrong though. You can always find a good receiver and special ones go high. There are a few in this draft. In my opinion. Burks is a lot like A.J. Brown. Is he though? Is he? I don't know. Thank you in 2 seconds. Just going down the rest. Okay, I'll hit it later. Solomon, I hope I'm saying that right. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well, man. I don't know if I talk to you frequently in the chat. If not, I appreciate you being a newer person to the show, and I appreciate you calling.
Yeah, I'm a beloved piece in the chat, so I've been watching the show pretty consistently for about a year now.
What's your name in the chat?
Beloved piece.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I recognize that name. What's up, man? Anything on your mind?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that we're being mocked. Like, well, first of all, I'm not sure if you've seen a bunch of mock drafts, but being knocked like Derek Stingley a lot at 4.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so,
No,
like,
I'm not for that. And that's not like the bias of the past with D Milner, but in a top 5, like you need to be pretty safe. And a guy who won, like, and maybe I watch him, I'm like thoroughly impressed. But apparently, a lot of the hype from Stingley was his freshman year. After his freshman year, his sophomore and junior years, his play dipped, and he was a lot like Diggs. Like Diggs is going to be that sexy guy to fans because he has those picks and gets those touchdowns. But then the next play he gives up a 60-yard touchdown. So I've heard that's what Stingley is a little bit. And you
Yeah.
air on top of him being like injured all the time. So Stingley at 4, even Stingley at 10, I would be disappointed, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I watched a lot of his 2019, and it looked good for the most part. I mean, he got cooked by Kyle Pitts and Devontae Freeman, but who doesn't? He got beat on slants a lot. But other than that, he had pretty good ball hawking skills for the most part. I haven't watched his recent stuff, but from what I hear, it's not too bad. But like you said, he is injured all the time. So do we really want to take another injury-riddled player again and be back in square one at cornerback if we do need number one corner? Because I don't trust Bryce Hall as a number one corner. He doesn't really have any ball skills. I mean, that's kind of shown up the past few games, like the Tampa game, some other games where he could have had the interception there. He just couldn't. He couldn't get it. So
Yeah, and he's even his athleticism, like he's solid because he's long, but in terms of his transitional footwork and his fluidity and his ability to match guys, it's just not there. And there's a reason, to me, everybody gets mad about the Jets putting Eccles on Diggs, which to me, singling up Eccles on Diggs is a mistake. Like he should cone him, which is like a form of a bracket, but whatever. They could do that with Eccles because he can somewhat match the physical talent of Diggs, where Hall had no shot. So that's why I think they did that in that game. But yeah, overall, I think he's a number 2. So with the corner position, and again, like you're talking about Stingley, not even because of D. Milner, we're the most if you take all the money the Jets have had on the IR the last 2-3 years, we're the most injured team in the NFL, and that's not like hearsay. Like that's legit. Like they've been so injured. Now you're gonna invest 4 or 10 in an often injured corner. I just can't see it. So you're obviously a proponent of getting a higher tier corner. So is there a guy you're targeting in the draft? Like, would you really like to see a Sauce Gardner at 10 or a McDuffie at 10? Or are you going to target like a J.C. Jackson or a Gilmore in free agency? Or kind of like what's your plan ideally for corner?
Yeah, probably kick the tires on like a Gilmore free agency. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a corner at 4. Maybe you can get one at 10. Okay, and that brings me back to like the 4th pick. I'm not even sure what you do with the 4th pick at this point, because I mean, if the edges are gone, I really don't want to take Neal, because I'd rather have a Kwanu if he's still there.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm not even sure like what are you doing? I mean, okay, if you kick Becton out to the right, you have Fant on the left. You're gonna be Kwanu playing guard for a year, and I guess you're gonna kick him out to right tackle eventually, and I guess make a decision on Becton and Fant at that point. But at that, it's kind of high for a guard. I mean, unless it's like there's not like a Quentin Nelson coming out in this draft or anything. I mean, like you said, the draft's not really top heavy like that. So I'm almost at the point where I just want to trade back at 4, and then just I guess stack up on my corner and linebacker. Receiver, I'm gonna attack in later rounds. I think I told you when you're on Jets Talk that about Jalen Tolbert's the guy I was looking at.
Yeah, like South Alabama or something, right?
Yeah. He's a later round guy. He kind of fits what we're looking for in terms of that deep threat and the guy that wins 50-50 balls. And there's other guys, but in terms of like spending like a first round, like a 4th round pick, or excuse me, first round pick, like the number 1 for 4 pick overall on a receiver or corner, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and with the whole like offensive line situation, it is a little tough because I'm more of the ilk of like, okay, if he fits in at guard and he's a Pro Bowl, all pro level guard, that's plenty of impactful enough for me to be fine with him being picked 4th. But I kind of get concerned where if you're taking him to be a guard and then Becton's not here, Fant's not here, now you're moving him from playing left tackle, and I think he played 300 reps at left guard. Now you're moving him to guard. And then in a year or two, now you want to move him to left tackle or to right tackle. Like I don't want to move him around too much. So if they're gone after a year, I could kind of see them thinking about that. But I think if he's going to be a good guard, good to great guard, I'm fine with taking him, because past that, I don't really see much of who's worth the pick at 4. Like I think Aquanu can be a good enough guard to be worth it, even though it's not ideal. Like, yeah, we want an edge rusher, we want Kyle Pitts to be there, but unfortunately, the Jets have the 4th pick, and it's not that draft. So I think he'd be my 3rd option. But past that, I'm with you. Like I'm in the trade down train. Like I really don't know. I have no idea what the Jets should do if Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Aquanu are gone. At 4, like I'm leaning towards like maybe Carl Loftus, but now you're taking the third best edge rusher in a draft class where none of the top edge rushers are even close to the the Chase Youngs of the world, the what's his face of the world, Nick Bosa's, so it's
Right.
concerning.
Yeah, you got I'm not sure if you've been keeping up with the Senior Bowl, but there's a guy, Jermaine Johnson II. He's rising up fast, and there's almost talks of him getting taken at like in the teens in the first round. So it's like he's kind of has like a high ceiling guy, like a lot higher ceiling than a Carl Loftus. So it's like, what do you do at that point? Do you go for the ceiling guy, the guy that has a higher ceiling, or do you go with the guy that has a higher floor at that point?
I guess, yeah, it depends. Like, that's a good question. We don't really know because it depends on like how far is he away from that ceiling. Like if you think that Jermaine Johnson's really far away from that ceiling, it's a huge risk, and you're kind of comfortable with Carl Loftus, and you're pretty confident he's going to be like that 8 to 12 sack a year guy. Take him, because like that next to Lawson, next to Q, who hopefully steps up this year, next to JFM is good enough for me. So like I'm kind of on the train right now of like hoping for, because obviously, yeah, I want Thibodeau, I want Hutchinson, but I'm thinking it's going to be Icky. I'm hoping for Icky, and then either a Carl Loftus or Jermaine Johnson at 10 if Jermaine Johnson impresses me enough. I can tell you when I watched Icky against Florida State, I definitely was noticing Jermaine Johnson a lot. I'll go back and then actually dive into it, but overall he impressed me a lot, and you have a guy who seems to be pretty good technically and is a pretty good athlete. I think Jermaine might rise himself to that 10th pick, so we'll see. But Solomon, I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching the show or being involved with the show for over a year. Hopefully you continue to be involved, and hopefully you call in. Maybe I'll do this again in 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not locked down, but
thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. All right. Next, I'll get to the chat in a second. Jets need a defensive edge first pick. Tammy, I agree with that, but Tony G likes Taylor, one of the last callers. Tammy, yes, I agree. But if edge 1 and 2 are gone, is edge 3 or 4 worth it? I'm not sure. Cooper trading Allen, signing plus re-sign Barrios around Davis and more. Yeah, I think that's a little bit too much, though, to be completely honest, because then you have either Corey Davis, Allen Robinson, Elijah Moore playing, 4th string receiver. How much are they going to be on the field? I think that's a little bit too much. Cooper trade or Allen signing, I'm cool with. I prefer Cooper to Allen. I think Cooper's a little bit better of a fit in terms of route running and having some good yak. But Cooper personality is not a number 1 receiver that would be playing. Would you take a running back in the draft? If so, where and who? Obviously I'm going to say that's a hard question to answer. I prefer like a power back type guy, like a Brian Robinson round like 4 or 5, like one of those type of guys. I'm not taking one too early. But then again, if you're sitting there at like in the 3rd round and what's his name, Williams for Notre Dame is there, and you feel it's a 2nd round value, I could justify one in like the 3rd round, but I'm not going anywhere earlier than that for one. So I prefer more of a power guy. I'm not sure if Williams for Notre Dame is exactly that, but I'll hit the chats in a second again. I'm going to get to the callers first. We'll go Joey and then Zeus after. Joey, can you hear me? I think your mic is off if you're trying to talk. Oh, there you go.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me, Jim?
Yep. What's up, man? I like the name.
Can you see me?
Yep. There you go.
Hey, thanks, man. I don't know. Some kind of similar, huh?
Yeah. Joe to Joe. So what's up? Any thoughts on anything I'm saying? Usually people are super hostile in the chat, so I'm surprised I haven't got a caller who's talking to me like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You have to take a receiver at 10. So do you have any hate? Are you gonna shit on me, or what's your opinions?
I mean, if you're asking for it, I can't be a fucking idiot. I don't believe it, but if you want me to, I could.
Oh no, but if you want to argue about something, I don't know. But what are your thoughts? We're talking about a lot of the draft. The draft is obviously overtaking everybody. Everybody's interested in it. So ideally, it's a question I've been asking for for the entire chat now, kind of. 4 and 10, like where are you going if you're the Jets? Is it offensive line, then defensive line? Is it defensive? Where are you at?
I'll like to answer, but I mainly hopped on here to let you know that I'm from Arizona, and out here in like the West, it's really hard to find Jet fans. So using the channel gets me connected. I feel like to my Jets brethren. It's kind of hard. So I really just appreciate what you guys do here. It's great. I've been a silent fan for a while, but I figured I'd call on and let you know myself.
Okay,
so,
yeah, no,
thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. Are you usually in the chat, or do you say you're just silent? You're just in the background?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I like to hop in when I can. Just sometimes work gets a little, sometimes I work, sometimes school, but I'll always watch them back if I can't catch them live. And I just, I like,
Yeah.
I like watching you and Kyle do your thing. And I mean, I watched I think I was there when you guys broke the Carl Lawson deal back in March.
Yeah. No,
I was here live when you guys broke the Carl Lawson deal. That was a fun day.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you listening. And I know, and Arizona could definitely be tough too. You're so far away from I'm sure a lot of Jets fans. And actually, when I went to Arizona to the stadium, I was actually surprised in Arizona how aggressive fans out west are. I remember like the Jets were getting blown out that
Yeah.
game. It was like Monday Night
Wow.
Football. Fitzpatrick, they were getting blown out like 28-3, and me and my buddy were getting like hot dogs thrown at us. Like, we're getting blown out. Like, why are you throwing shit at me? So I'm sure it's tough.
Was
Being a fan of Arizona, but.
Yeah, was that like when the last time like Revis and Brandon Marshall were here? Was that like a few years ago? Because I think I was at the last time we were here. I was at that game.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the game. It's Fitzpatrick, Brandon Marshall. That's when everything started to fall apart. And I think like the fourth quarter, they put in Geno at that point. So that was a pretty rough game. But I know you kind of just called in to talk about like appreciation for the channel. But do you want to comment on your wants at 4 and 10?
I mean, yeah, I was, you sold me on Hamilton at 4, and then you sold me on no Hamilton at 4. So I've been trying to. I try to keep a level head about these things. You see a report, it's easy to get like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get this guy.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't happen, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm so depressed we didn't get this guy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to say the least. Because normally with the way these drafts come, you kind of know. Like when it was the Darnold draft, you knew like, hey, they traded up for a quarterback. It's just which quarterback was going to be there. No one really saw, if you were looking at the draft after that, which was Quinnen, the BPA, was Quinnen the best pick? Probably not, but he's still, I love Quinnen. He's a good player. And then when the Jets at 11, when they drafted Mekhi, I mean, you knew offensive line was a big deal. So like you had a pretty big feeling that if one of the big four was there, he would have been taken. So this year's really interesting. We don't.
You're breaking up a little bit, Joe. I can't hear you at all, actually. So I don't know if you're still there. If not, though, I think you just dropped off. Appreciate the call, and hopefully we hear from you again soon. But you dropped, buddy. Remove him. Kick. Okay, here we go. I'm getting this stuff down. The chat, I'll hit you in a second. I see some questions and stuff in there from like 20 minutes ago, so I'm gonna be late. Of course, I say I'm gonna be here till 10, and I'm gonna be here till fucking 11:30. So, what's up, Zeus?
Yo, what up? What up? What's going on?
What's going on, man? Are you calling to yell at me about receiver at 10, or what are your thoughts about the draft?
Man, listen, I've been a long time Jet fan, man, and when you're a New York fan, people become unrealistic a lot of the times, man.
Mm-hmm.
I hear all this chatter about Becton. I hear about Trey Burks at 10. Listen, we need to get a receiver, a guard, and a tight end in free agency. We need to get a defensive end at 4, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't get Thibodeau, I say we trade back and get a lot more picks.
Mm-hmm.
Pick Jermaine Johnson, go Devin Lloyd. I like Devin Lloyd a little bit better than Dean because I don't know how Dean's size is going to translate to the NFL. He's only about like 5'11", 220.
Okay,
yeah, he's fast. He's sideline to sideline, but you're playing in the league now. You're not playing in college where you can run around blocks. You got to be able to take on blocks and shed. Mm-hmm. So I'll take Dean at 6'3", 240, and he's just as athletic, if not just as good, But I could see the Lions trying to move up. If you get Aiden, they get Aiden at 2, and they try to move back up and get Hamilton. You got 2 cornerstone pieces. That's going to make the Lions tremendously better, Mm-hmm. But if Tib doesn't fall to 4, definitely we move back. We get either Jabo or Jermaine at 10. I think we could get a linebacker and a corner in the first round and keep those three together for the next 4 to 5 years.
So to follow up with that, I guess you don't. There's no love for Karlaftis. You're not a Karlaftis guy, or you just
Not
no,
at
you don't
all.
like him.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And
He
is that
looks he looks more. I don't know. He doesn't have that bend. Like we bought Salah here, right, to kind of implement the same defense that San Francisco has. And when you look back at the team that went to the Super Bowl, you got D Ford on one end, Bendy. You got Bosa on the other end, Bendy, and you had was it Armstead and Buckner?
Yep.
We could have that same exact setup with Lawson on one end, Tibb or Johnson on one end, and then you have Franklin Meyer and Quinnen in the middle. So it's not exactly the Niners, but it's pretty damn good D line.
Yeah, and I get that argument against like Karlaftis because I said it before. Like he might be that guy who you feel comfortable about getting that like 8 to 12 sacks because of like technique, high effort, all that stuff. But does he have the opportunity to be a Thibodeau who's a freak and who can get maybe if he reaches his ceiling 18 to 20 sacks? So you always have to like it's an interesting discussion about like ceiling versus comfortability of their floor. So I'm definitely looking to Jermaine Johnson, those guys. But okay, so with the fourth pick, you're saying if those guys aren't there, Thib, Hutchinson, who's going to trade up, and two, if they're not willing to trade up, you're stuck there. Is there a guy you're hoping for past those two edge rushers or no?
So, I mean, like I said, I could foresee Detroit or the Eagles moving up if they're not in, especially if Philly's not in that Deshaun Watson situation because of that legal situation. But I could see Philly doing that because Philly needs their back end is terrible. They got two good corners, but their safeties aren't that good. But if we have to stay at 4,
it's tough. Yeah,
I would go if Neal's not on the board, and I don't even like Neal because I think Icky's the best fit just because he could play guard. He's a more ideal guard, and I tell people this right, like LDT was a prime example of how good our offensive line could be if we have just a competent right guard. Yep. People got on McGovern. As soon as LDT got plugged in there, that offense looked totally different. So now imagine you get an even better right guard and you let the whole line stay healthy. Man, we got a lot of potential. A lot of potential.
Yeah, and the problem with the playoffs too is like now that people are seeing all these receivers take over, they start to think that's the only way to do things. Like the Jets could take over in the offensive line, like that's fine. And like you said, just going from GVR, who's absolutely atrocious, to like somebody who's below average, like to a bad starter, the running game took off in those couple of weeks, and it was even taking off in some weeks where you had Feeney in. You had Feeney and LDT, but like just adding LDT over GVR was such a massive upgrade. So now you're looking at a line of hopefully Becton healthy, who he had some injury problems year 1. The year 2 thing you get rolled up on. It doesn't matter if you're 380 or 280. You're gonna shatter your knee. That's what it is. So you have that next to AVT, next to McGovern, who again people typically like the first impression always sticks. So McGovern sucked at his first year, and he was kind of sketchy to start year 2 with the Jets, but overall he's a decent center. So you plug that in next to Icky, next to Fant or Becton, whoever's going to take the right side. Like you're looking at an offensive line that should be 10, 12, a solid offensive line behind hopefully another running back or two added to that group, another receiver. So you kind of, and I couldn't be in more lockstep with you than talking about adding the offensive talent in free agency. So is there anything you prefer in free agency? Like, are you a Robinson guy, a Godwin guy? Trade, like what's your plan for offense?
What's funny, and I always bring this up about New York. And New York is a place where if you're not it today, you're yesterday's news. And it's so funny that last year the talk of the town was Allen Robinson and Brandon Sheriff, but this year nobody wants him. No. Nothing happened. Like people don't understand. Like Brandon Sheriff got tagged twice. He didn't want to play for Washington, right? He didn't want to play for them. He got tagged the second time. Unfortunately, he got hurt. I highly doubt they're going to sign him to a deal. That's who we need to go after. He's a Pro Bowler. We could go after him or Tomlinson. And let's not forget that Allen Robinson is a really good route runner. Our offense is predicated on getting open. It doesn't matter if you're 6'3", 6'4", 5'9". As long as you could get open in that offense, you're good. And he's good at 50-50 balls, so I think it's perfect for Zach. So
yeah, and he might be a guy who like, and this is why like to me like film is important. People like they overlook it, but the fact that like everybody shits on Al Robinson now, but what if we go into we turn on Bears tape and the guy's getting open consistently, but Justin Fields isn't hitting them or Nagy he's a fourth read where he should be the first or second read in the progression. Like so, we really have to look into that. But yeah, I'm with you in terms of like just addressing the offense right off the bat, because then again we go into the draft, defensive heavy draft, we don't have to fucking force a receiver at 10. Like that's how it should be. And with Brandon Sheriff, the only thing that's concerning about him is the injuries. So if they get him, depends on the price. You know, like if he's asking for $17, $18 million a year, I know he's missed a ton of games. It all depends. You know, so I'm almost more like my biggest needs in free agency that I want to hit is receiver, tight end. Not in love with the guard market, but if they can get Tomlinson at $11 million or a Connor Williams, one of those guys, and he could be a solid guard, I'm cool with it. But then safety past that, I think they need a safety in free agency, especially free agency that seems pretty stacked because, again, like going to the draft with Ashton Davis as your safety on your roster is a shitty situation. So they got to get somebody, at least one guy. Like maybe ideally you get like Justin Reed, and because everybody always gonna say the biggest guy, like yeah, we want Marcus Williams, yeah, we want what's his name, Jesse Bates, but like realistically, maybe Reed and get me like Jaquiski Tart, as like a hold the fort veteran type guy. So. Yeah.
I don't think Bates is gonna walk. I think he's gonna get tagged or I like Reed the best. But I was thinking about something with the situation with May, like you got players coming back within 9 months from Achilles tears. Maybe we get a discount. Maybe the market's not hot for him. And the whole situation with that DUI, I think he owes Douglas one, Like
hey, if you could, what's the price? Like, okay, Marcus May, like, what's the highest you're willing to give him for a prove it kind of deal with the Jets?
A 1 year, $9 million, $8 million. Okay. I know it's going to be tough, but listen, you're probably not going to start the season. You're probably not going to be back to like week 4.
Yeah.
$9 million, $8 million.
Yeah, he was hoping for like 12, 13, whatever it was, but you get hit with the DWI. You get hit with not reporting it to the Jets, and then you tear your ACL. Like his value drops. So if you could pull him in for 1 year, $8 million, and then he's going to try to prove it, and then leave the Jets for a multi-year deal, which is not going to be huge because he's going to be like 30 years old. But still, I would be interested in it because it's not like the Jets are stacked at safety where we could be like, kind of raise your chin. Like no, fuck Marcus May. Like he was fine for the Jets for the most part. He's a decent safety, so I would do it too. Zeus, anything else you want to add before we jump off? I really appreciate the call. I don't know if you're using the chat or whatnot, but
no, that's good, man. I appreciate you having me, man. Sure.
Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
All right, getting back to the chat. I'll share the link again. Again, it's 10:30, but I don't give a shit. I can go for as long as 100 people in here. There's like 100 and something before more, but if the 100 people are down, I'll keep going. I don't care. Where am I at? 10:30. I'll share the link again too, but Cooper, personality is not number one receiver. I don't know what personality, like there's different, why? Because he's a little bit more passive. I don't think you have to be like boisterous to be a number one receiver, but let's see. Yeah, did that one already. Why do my earphones sound weird? Do I even need my earphones in? It sounds weird when you have, like, I always do like shows by myself and I'll have earphones in. I'm like, but what am I hearing? I just feel like you have to. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm not a tech guy. Robinson had 1 year for years. Everything he's done. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Raw Pal. Like he's an interesting case because last year, 1 year ago, people would have loved to grab that guy for $17 million a year. They'd have been happier than picking shit. This year, I say $12 million for Robinson. People are like, I don't know, but we got to watch. Like if he was getting open, like I was saying to Zeus, then I'm cool with it. Like and like you said, a guy who could run routes and get open. Great. I want to see how much he really was getting open. I've seen him in a lot of contested catches situations, so I really want to see the route running for myself. But you want route running, you want yak. That's what this is built. Like I think Vitor, obviously Jet X Factor brought it up the other day, like just comparing Quincy to Debo, and obviously they're different, but like how perfect of a fit Quincy Williams would have been, or Quincy Newmaw would have been in this offense would have been absolutely ridiculous. If possible, to trade down from 4 to 10 in the late teens. Yeah, no, I'm fine with many trade downs, especially if you're like, I don't want trade downs for 5th and 6th round picks and all that. I want premium capital, and premium to me is like the first 4. Oh, not really premium, but like upper, no, mid premium. Like what's the word I'm looking for? I think that like anything past round 4, getting trade down for like 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, I'm not really for it. But if you can stock up picks from 30 to 70, I'm completely down with that, especially in a draft that seems like it's more mid-heavy than top-heavy. Like there seems like to be a lot of good players in the second round, from the McBrides to the Zion Johnsons to like the edge rusher Cam Thomas to Johnson was supposed to be on it, but now he's rising. It seems like there's a lot of guys in the second, third round. So if they could trade back, yeah, fine. But obviously, if Thibodeau or Hutchinson fall, like no, I'm not trading anything. There's no way I'm trading that. So I'll share the link again. I saw there's 2 other people in the room who bailed though. For Hamilton, possibly Cross. What do you think about trading for and Quinn Williams to Eagles for their first 3 round? No. Oh, sorry, I pulled it up on the screen. Hamilton again, Daryl. I don't know if you were in here the whole time. Hamilton's not generational. He needed to be generational for me to pick him at 4. He has great athleticism, but he has way too many mental lapses. Like generational, I had to see it both athletically and from a technical mental aspect. Because you could say, oh well, you could just fix it. The coaches can fix that. Okay, then what happened to Quinn Copeles? What happened to what's happening to Mims? What happened to Vernon Golston? What happened to plenty of guys who have the athleticism, but it needs to both be there. Taylor is going to watch the Nets game. Yeah. Okay, there you go. They better be beating the Kings. They should have just started not that long ago. Karlaftis is more like Sean Ellis than John Abraham. We need Abraham to be an impact difference maker. Lawson's a complete unknown. Yeah, that's why I'm not for Karlaftis at 4, but if Karlaftis would be Sean Ellis, one you'd probably take him at 4 regardless if he's Sean Ellis. But 10 is where I'm more comfortable with him because I don't think he's an upper tier pass rusher, but I feel like he could be a very consistently good edge threat. Very consistent with his technique, very consistent with his motor. Like you're looking at like Trey Henderson's making plenty of impact for the Bengals right now, even though I didn't think he would because I didn't like him, to be completely honest. But if you can get a player like that at 10th pick, I'm cool with that, just not at 4. He is going to watch Nets game. Bengals let Lawson go grab. Lawson's film is 1,000% better than Hendrickson's. It is, but if the Bengals knew that maybe on some of their medicals that they were concerned about him going forward, then yes. But just film wise, no way. Who the hell is RNA? This is like some weird block user. That seems like some spam or some weird shit. Okay, I don't know what that is. There you go. Block out the spam. Thank you, Eagle. Eagle has to go to bed. Adios, Solomon. Pierce. What kind of running back should we pair with Carter? More of a power back, and it doesn't really matter. Like I'm not like overly crazy for it has to be a power back, but you'd like more of like a scat, not like a scat back. Like that's kind of like disrespecting Michael Carter, but smaller guy, already had some injury concerns at the end of the year. You like to see a bigger bruiser type of back, but as long as there's a guy who's capable enough to split targets or split carries with him, like I don't want Carter to get 20, 25 carries a game. I don't think his body can handle it. And that's usually not what the NFL is about now anyway. It's about, there's a Dalvin Cooks to McCaffrey's. Look at him now, though. Look at Henry, who got injured this year. Obviously, took a shit ton of carries. But, most of the NFL, minus the top guys, is about 1A, 1B, 1C, especially with the Niners, those type of systems. They split a lot of carries. So I just want a guy who's capable enough where there's not a massive drop-off. Can you find that guy in the 3rd, 4th round, the 5th round? I think so. I think you can every year. You just got to hit the right guy. But I don't think the guy is I think Coleman is a decent 3. I don't want Coleman as a 2. I don't want Ty Johnson as a 2. I don't want Michael Piron as a 2. We got to set our standards higher. Those guys are not great running backs. I think Coleman again is a rosterable running back. Ty Johnson was trash this year. Let's be honest. He had a couple of highlight plays. Again, you'll see him, with his speed. You'll see him truck over a guy. But then the other 10, carries he took that game. His vision's not good. He has no patience. Especially in zone, you have to have patience, and it just wasn't great. Beloved Pierce, baby. I don't know. I was talking about Pierce from the running back from Florida. Was that what you're talking about? I don't know. Stingley at 4, disregard that mock. Yes, Nathan, 100% agree with you. Disregard that because I severely doubt that's going to happen. Oh, beloved Peace. He's not Pierce. Yeah, obviously, that works both ways. Secondary makes a pass rush better too. But I rather have pass rush over secondary. I agree with that. Eccles is a nice depth piece. Yeah, Tony, agree with that. Fourth, 5th guy, not a starter. Joe, can you see JD trading 4 to Atlanta 8 and picking Linderbaum? I could. I want to watch Linderbaum. I'm doing that review because if he's that good, trade down, take him at 8, and then you move McGovern to guard where he's played before. I'll be fine with that. Like I think the positional value thing is getting overstated the last couple of years. If he's that good and you could address your interior offensive line like that, move McGovern. That's fine. I'm definitely not on the train of draft a guy at 4 and 10 on the offensive line because it's too much youth. But moving on. Yeah, we need a guy. Don't feed Becton after a minute. Don't feed Becton a couple hours before bed. But the positive thing is he got a nutritionist, right? So hopefully he really understands it's a problem now. Yes, Chrono Kenny, 100%. This is exactly why we're talking about both this comment and the comment of injuries. Mike Williams, 50-50 guy, injured. That's who fans want to spend $15 million on. No, I don't get that the love for Mike Williams in our offense. You want to trade Tammy? Okay, I'm just gonna keep USC guys underrated. Talking about Drake London or Drake Jackson. Are they both on USC? One's the edge rusher, one's a receiver. I forget. Kenyon Green, right guard tackle at 10. Yeah, if they were to grab, let's say Thibodeau, Daniel Jeremiah had him at falling to 4. Maybe he does. You take him and then Kenyon Green at 10. Based on whatever we're saying, I wouldn't be mad with the guard at 10. Good call, Simon. Yeah, all the callers were great. I appreciate the conversation. Again, I've never really done this, so just to get 5-6 calls, that's awesome. Stingley is a bust. Joe has a nice streamer worthy room. I can do it eventually. This is my first house, not my last house. I'll have an office with the freaking sign behind me. I'll have all that stuff. But right now, this is just my office, which is just like a storage room right now. So that's what I'm doing. I have a desk in here. That's pretty much it. Even though I could be doing it on my living room right now, but like I said, you do it in one room and you get comfortable in that room. If I was to pull you guys out into the living room, I would like it. It would just be worse. You just don't have that feel. You get used to a room when you're talking like this. Let's see. Okay, share the thing. Okay, I'm still 20 minutes behind. Jesus, Chase Cotton, connection lost. Yeah, beloved peace. That I don't know who is. Oh, beloved peace was Zeus. Appreciate you, Zeus. I agree wholeheartedly on the whole thing about free agency, getting offense there. Zeus speaking God's words. Gilmore yeah, I'm cool with that. I like people obviously they prefer to grab guys who are young because you want them to develop with the team, but you're going to need a couple of stopgap veterans. And Gilmore is still he's not what he was 3 years ago with the Pats, but he's still a legit number 1 corner. So if you can grab him for what would the price be? $13 million a year. Is it worth it for 2 years to hold the fort, develop some guys? I think it is. Obviously, depending on what else is out there. Like I'm not going to take Gilmore over like necessarily Allen Robinson or a guard or a tight end because I really want to fix the offense in free agency. But I would be married with Gilmore, Ojabo, Jermaine Jackson, Chase Cotton. Yo, what's up? To be real, I don't see teams looking to move up to 4. I don't really either. You're hoping that Pickett, Carson Strong, one of these guys like really balls out, and then ideally they trade up before. Like I would, yeah, the trade down's great, but I'd rather have a team trade up to 3 or 2, take Pickett. One of the teams is dumb enough to take Neal or Hamilton, and then we get Thibodeau or Hutchinson. Like that's what I want. Week top 10 is going to hurt us. Raw Power says, yeah. We'll say hopefully they navigate it right. Are they really so far apart? I don't know. I know Ojabo is more of a 3-4 guy, not having to take on the run game like a 4-3 edge rusher would. I know Ojabo has what people are calling even a higher ceiling than Thibodeau, but he's the right fit in our defense. I don't know. I'd have to see. I'd have to look for myself. Houston wants to trade back, huh? Maybe they do for whatever. I don't know. Funny how Jets fans are saying no one is worth a 4th pick trade. Why would any teams want that spot? Yeah, that's part of the conversation. It's not like there's 2 sides of every conversation, which is always gets me mad about free agency. Like, oh my God, the Jets let this guy walk or that guy walk, or they didn't sign this guy. Joe Tooney, like, oh, they didn't sign him. It's bullshit. They didn't sign this guy. Who's to say they didn't offer him a contract and he took a lesser contract? Or who's to say that he said, no, I don't want to live in New York. No, I don't like the state tax there. No, I want to go to a winning team. Like people act like if you sign a guy to the same contract or like, the freaking Panthers off Robbie Anderson $11 million. If we offer him $11.1, he's coming back to the Jets. Like people are so black and white with free agency and not signing guys and not landing guys. Like they don't have 31 other options. That Wi-Fi is sold harder than Fitzpatrick in Week 17. I'm assuming that's about the. It is what it is, Joey. It's okay. You don't have a lot of towers there in Arizona. PPR might be the worst starting guard I've ever seen. Have we seen a worse one? Yeah, I don't know. We've had some bad ones. Didn't Jonathan Harrison take some reps at guard at a point? Yeah, I don't know. Let's get it. Sad if we say it, everyone is stumped. Thibodeau, Hutchinson, icky. I'm cool with Sheriff as well. Yeah, I'm concerned about the injuries. I think Justin really is realistic. Yeah, I do too, and I think he's a little bit overlooked because he's in with the Texans. I think he's pretty good. Realistically, Tony Jean, I know you know this. Like a lot of people, like they'll see 5-year deals, but how many 5-year deals are really out there? Like it might be say 5 years, but when you see 2 or 3 years guaranteed on that 5-year deal, it's really about the guaranteed money. So they're really only 2-3 year deals. You don't really see a lot of 4-year guaranteed contracts unless it's for like quarterbacks. Great calls, dudes. Yeah, you killed it. Sign made for a prove it deal. The problem with the only thing with that is he's already 29. So does he want to just take as much money as he can now? You know, as versus a guy who's 26 and might have a couple extra years to do it with a prove it deal. But then again, he might have screwed himself with the whole DWI thing with the whole. He didn't screw himself with the injury, but he got injured, so it's a struggle. And does Joe Douglas are bridges burnt because of him not reporting the DWI? And I wonder how that would work in terms of like, hold on, cold ass coffee, which is fine. But like, how does that? I wonder how that would work in terms of was May and his agent trying to slip under the rug, get a contract from the Jets, and then they sign him, and then it's like, oh hey, by the way, I got a surprise for you, got a DWI and did all this other shit, whatever. Like if they weren't privy to that, and then they signed him, and then they wanted to get money back or terminate the deal because of that, how would that work out? Like does anybody know that? Because I feel like you'd have to, like, he's supposed to report that. That's supposed to be information that's made privy to them. So that'd be a curious situation because were they trying to pull some like really shady shit like that? Like I don't know. It's shady though, definitely shady. So did he burn bridges? Why is no one talking about the 2 safeties we drafted last year? Because they play linebacker. They went for linebacker, so they're not going to play safety. Trey Hendrickson would have played. That was get a running back from BYU. Oh yeah, like Tony Bullinger, whatever the hell his name is. It's always nice like to see like those guys. You want the other center from BYU, like I would like that too. So many fans talk shit about Trey. Get the running back. Yeah, what the hell's his name? Billinger? I forget what it is. If just I'm fine with Karlaftis. I like Karlaftis. I'm comfortable enough with his floor. And again, I'm not saying this definitively, but if his floor is 8 to 10 12 sacks, let's not get greedy. Like I think he's a good edge rusher. I do. Mike Jerome, thank you for having me. Which caller were you, Mike? Oh, that's not the Mike from my neighborhood, but it's I don't know who Mike was. Darryl Bryan, his size of the safe position, his skill, I feel like it's generational. It's fine. He has plenty of physical upside, but if you're not going to leverage yourself right over a route concept, if your eyes aren't in the right spot, if you're missing, he missed 2 tackles on runs that one went for like a 60, 70-yard touchdown and one went for like a 50-yard run because he took bad angles. Like, and you can't have that as a safety. You're the last line of defense, so it was concerning. Are we looking for a savior, please? Haha, we definitely need an all-star special team unit number 1. All right. Joe, watch your last video on Amazon. 1 in a decade talent? No, he's not. Derwin James is better coming out of FSU than Hamilton is. Again, I go back to the beginning of the thing, the review, or not the review, the live stream, and I show you a couple plays of Hamilton that were super concerning to me. The first pick is Akeem Drake Leonard. No, I hope not. If they take Drake Leonard, Traylon Burks at 10, I'm not going to be happy about it. Unless I turn on their shit and it's really, really good, I don't think it's worth it. Where'd it go? Yeah, it's only been 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's easy for me. It's fun talking to people because I typically do reviews that are 2-3 hours, and I'm literally talking to a screen, which I'm talking to a screen right now, but I'm talking to you guys kind of still through the screen. Yeah, I don't see that necessarily either, Yoshi, because again, why it's not like they're fire sailing. Like they need talent around Herbert. See. Good to know. You play football, Ben Collins? Obviously. Collins, number 37. If your number is 37, that's cool because it's my badge number. 1737. So we have some connection there. There's something between us, Ben. So like my thing is, if they want to trade for him, cool. Is he available? Why? Why would he be available? What do you think it would take if they can be convinced? Like, what do you need to trade to them? Like I'd have to watch them more, but a high first, a low second, like he's still like the 12th pick, 13th pick a couple of years ago, and it's not like yeah, judge him on the stats all you want. And I know he's had some drops, but he's also been playing with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. So how disappointing is he really? I don't know. Let's see, Melvin Gordon, Jesse. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think Melvin Gordon's he's always been a little bit overlooked, but if you're going to sign him and he can be good for just a year, like I don't give a shit about running backs in terms of like the long. Yeah, I want to always draft from like the 4th or 5th round because so many of them hit then. But like if you sign Melvin Gordon this year and then Tony Pollard next year, then another guy next year, I don't really have many qualms about like just kind of reloading the running back group often. Like they don't. Oh, you're Zeus. Oh, who was the other caller then? Mike. Okay, so that was Mike Jerome. Who was the other caller? He said thanks for the beloved piece. Who was that then? I forget. Okay, so Mike Jerome. Now I know you. Now you just change your name to Zeus. Be easier, but you don't want to do that. Mike. Parentheses Zeus Jerome. I'm Solomon, beloved piece. Okay. Sorry, I fucked that up. Stop the passing yard and we win. Is that simple? We can already pick up great receivers. Why worry about it? Because the rush affects the pass game. There's way too many times last year where quarterbacks are standing clean. Like how long was Josh Allen, Tom Brady? Like they were all just standing there clean. So Jermaine Johnson hype. Somebody asked me a question about that. Trade number 4. I from what I saw personally, watching him just in passing of Icky, he looks like a first-round player to me on film, just in passing. And he was supposed to be a second-round guy. So when I saw second-round hype or second-round pick for him, and then I watched a couple of days ago, which this is before the Senior Bowl stuff happened, I was like, really a second? Like you can get this guy in a second? But now he's starting to fly up the boards. And I think he's much more for me. I think he's much more of a realistic option at 10 than 35. So we'll see. There's guys who fall and rise. The draft boards are going to look so much different in 3 months from now than they are now. It's absurd. So I'm buying the hype for Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, offensive line, defensive line, corners. But yeah, I'm fine. Like I think corners important. I think people are lowering that positional value for whatever reason. Alliger, okay, Tyler Alliger. Thank you, Lon Baxter. No, they made him. Not high. They're not hybrid linebackers. They're just linebackers, but they good safeties. They make one a safety and draft a linebacker. Yeah, but Sherwood is not a safety in the NFL. He does not have the athleticism. He barely has the athleticism to play linebacker. He's not even a plus athlete at linebacker. So there's absolutely no way Sherwood could play safety in the NFL, and then past that at linebacker. Like you're taking Hamza, who was already raw at safety, trying to teach him linebacker year one, and then say, "Hey, no, it's okay. Let's move back to safety." You're moving a guy around too much who's raw. So I think they stay where they are. Great show. Good night, everyone. Yeah, I'm gonna go through the chat. I'll do this one more time. No, I'm not gonna post it again. If you want to go back up, fine. But bro, you got to chill with the wide receivers. We need as many as possible we can. Have Zach Wilson thrown a. Okay, like I get the need for wide receiver, but I'm not reaching for one that doesn't deserve to be the 10th pick. I'm not saying. If there was Jamar Chase in this draft, Devontae Smith, whoever, at 10, take him. Cool with it. But they need to be deserving of the pick, and that's why I feel like getting a guy in free agency is a better option because I don't think the guys at 10 are worth it. So it's not about not wanting a wide receiver. It's about wanting the right one. I think we should pursue defense in free agency. I like Chandler Jones, Tre'Davious Ward. I think go O-line, 2 tight ends, wide receiver. Yeah, no, I just sure. But then what if the offensive lineman or the receiver you want doesn't fall to your pick, and now you're sitting there with, not a number 1 wide receiver, not a number 2 wide receiver. You don't have a starting, you don't have a tight end. Like if McBride goes at 32 and then Whittemire goes at 34, and then we're sitting there like, shit, do we really have to reach that far on Isaiah Likely or Ferguson or whoever? Like, is it worth it? In fact, it's so simple. Jets want to see a nutcase flying around second quarterback. Why not spend? Watch us score corners and offensive line. Okay, we're still on that mode. Yeah, there you go. I'm cool with that too. Have you seen the tight ends? I know McBride's popular record to Jets fan. I don't know Xavier. I will. I'll have that for you, but I don't prefer anybody. I don't want like one of the like just the guys who's a receiver. Like a lot of people bring up in free agency. I know the other caller said Gerald Everett. I wasn't gonna go back on it, but Gerald Everett is a guy who is known as really only a receiving guy. I don't want that. They need to be a receiver and a blocker. So like Everett, no. Evan Ingram, no. The people who want Gesicki, I have no idea why. This is such it's so important in this scheme to be able to block and to receive. You want Gesicki, who's basically a big slot receiver. Why do we have him playing inline tight ends and get blown up? So any of the guys who are multidimensional, those are the guys who I want. So which is seemingly Whittemire, McBride, Ferguson, and who's the other one I'm missing? Ruckert. But like, do I have a preference on which ones at which rounds? Really, like I don't not that yet. What's your definition of a first round prospect? They have to have a high enough ceiling, and the technique has to be there enough where I could assume that it's going to be first round worthy. Like first round to me needs to be a starter or a plus starter. That's really hard to say. What's the definition of one? They have to have they have to have some type of athletic floor, and they have to have some type of technical floor. Like it's are you deserving of it? That's a really hard to put into a sentence about. What's the definition of a first round prospect? Are they one of the best 32 guys in that current draft? I definitely have things like some traits I look for. You know, like the edge rushers that go. It's always about like the 5 keys for them for the edge rushers. Voices on to go a little bit. Bend, burst, length, technique, and power. And like for rushers, I need to see a lot of those to be a first round guy, unless one of the other ones is like a super plush trait. Like Karlaftis has the technique, he has the power, the length and the bend are kind of lacking a little bit there. But his technique is so clean that I think he's worthy of 10. So that's a really, really hard question to answer. If I had more time, maybe I could like think about that. But or if I had more time, I could think about that. But I would definitely have a better answer. I get that argument, to be completely honest, Jack. But at the same time, and I know Chase got them there, but like in that game against the Titans, I think a good offensive line or at least a better offensive line would probably be more effective than Jamar Chase in that game. So I don't think that he's just nailed that. And even last game, like the defense did a lot. Like the Chiefs, the final score was 24-21. So they held them. You know, Joe Burrow was getting absolutely brutalized in the pocket. So yeah, sure, he's helping, but the offensive line also looks like absolute dog shit. So. Oh, okay, Harold. Yeah, I get that. To be completely honest, I think after Schultz, in terms of free agency, after Schultz, I'm on that same kind of train. Like I rather grab like a Njoku, a Max Williams, OJ Howard, whoever it may be. But then if they're not able to grab that big guy, which is Schultz, then it becomes at the minimum a second or third round priority in the draft. Like they need 2 guys who are capable starters. I'm okay with Croft being re-signed for $1.5 million, $2 million a year as a backup. Anything past anything past the third string tight end, I'm not happy with Croft being number 2 or anything like that. How do you feel, is he more of a receiving guy, Braden? I really don't know a lot about him. I know he's like a 4th or a 5th round guy, but yeah, if they were to grab him, I'd be okay with it. Obviously, depending on how much we like the film, which we'll hopefully all go over together. I'll do the show, and if you subscribe, whatever, you get to watch it. Cool. Very cool with it. Depending on the picks, obviously, if it's 35 and 38, then maybe not. But if it's 35 and a 3rd or a 4th round pick for Ruckert, I'd be cool with that. I don't want back to back. McDuffie and Gore. I seen Jeremiah mock the Jets and McDuffie at 10 a couple of weeks ago, I think. So he's rising as potentially the corner 2 in this draft to Sauce. And I know Kyler Gordon too, right? Like a 2nd or 3rd round guy. I've heard some people talk about him, but I don't really know a lot. Besides the wide receiver or Saint player, I think we trade for. Any player besides a wide receiver or Saints player, I think we trade for. The only guy I've seen like hinted towards, which I'm not sure about honestly, because the Vikings are rebuilding and he's young enough to rebuild on. Maybe a Daniel Hunter, like maybe later in free agency, they figure out, okay, like the draft gets obviously more settled, then becomes more concrete, at least the top for the teams especially, and they know they're not going to land a Thib or a Hutchinson. They're not in love with Karlaftis, Jermaine Johnson, Ojabo, whatever at 10, and they say, screw it. We'll send a second and some change or whatever for Hunter, whatever it's going to take. I could see that. Say that's maybe the next guy, but other than that, I can't really think of it on the top of my head. I don't know. So that's what I would say. Maybe Daniel Hunter. 10:58. Okay, let's see. Somebody said, was it you? Was it you, Braden, or somebody else? No, it was John. I forget, John something Kowski. I forget your name, John. Sorry. He was saying he watched Palomalu, and he said he wasn't impressed at all. So obviously I don't watch for myself, but see, we can get Rucker in the late third, early fourth. Yeah, if you're telling me, okay, it's McBride at 35 and Rucker with a fourth round pick, I would sign up for that. Let me see. That's, if you guys want to talk about anything else in the chat, I'll hit it real quick. But it's been 3 hours, so I'll probably bounce off soon. I definitely appreciate, like I said, 5-6 people calling in for the first time ever. This, hopefully we build a consistent line of callers who always call in, and some new guys and all that stuff, because I enjoy talking to you guys. And next time, hopefully, it'd be somebody asks about Nani. I don't always stream with Nani. It's really me and Kyle, and then Nani jumps in for the weeks during the season, because Kyle can't do it every week. So it's really me and Kyle. And then one of these streams too, I'll allow you guys to come on and talk, maybe with Marcus Coleman. Marcus Coleman obviously played in the NFL. He's a legitimate friend of mine. Like I know when I'm going out to Texas for a game, like I'm gonna chill with Coleman. He's a cool dude. So definitely bring him on and let you talk to him or whatever. I don't know if through video, but definitely through chat. I don't want anybody saying something really stupid. According to UCM's Twitter, there's a lot of chatter. Yeah, I talked about this before. Smoke season. The Jets, Joe Douglas hasn't released anything to the press in terms of actual like solidified news. Like I think people, I think maybe it was on Green Bean's show. He said this, which is true. Like when the Jets traded Darnold, they said, like the way they worded it, they said it was like according to or just released to the league office or whatever. Like nobody even had any idea what they're trading Darnold. Like nothing gets leaked by the Jets, at least the last couple of years. So the fact that this early in the process they love Drake or London is complete bullshit. So their release, whoever the information's, like maybe U Stadium got it, but is it released for a reason? Usually when information is released at this time, it's for a reason. So Joe Douglas gonna be sitting there and say, "Hey, I'm gonna tell this guy, okay, that Drake London, we love him." And he's sitting there in his fucking chair, like, I pray Drake London goes in the top 10 because 1, we don't like him, and 2, I'm hoping Karlaftis falls, and Drake London going in the top 10 gives us a better chance to get Karlaftis. Like I don't care about anything with in terms of that. So let me see if there's anything else in here. Good callers, yeah, I agree, definitely. I really believe trade down for, yeah. I think from 10, it's definitely a realistic. Off topic, what's the best coaching clinic you've seen? Do you go to Glazer Clinic in AC? No. I watched a lot of McNally's for the offensive line. I watched a lot of, what the hell's the DB's name? There's a cornerback who played with the Texans a lot, who I watched for offensive line. And then defensive line, like I'll look up stuff. Like I know Blitzology is good. Coach Bass is good. There's plenty of good coaches on Twitter. Follow them. Watch videos. Watch clinics from professionals on YouTube. Write notes. Go over it again. Write notes. Try to find it in the film. Write notes. Like I have. Like let me see. I'll show you guys. Random football. You'll see this real quick. This is from like when I started years and years ago evaluating film. Let me see this. These are all notes. Typically they have links in them. But like watch how far I'll scroll down with notes on football stuff. This isn't like players. This is like techniques and all that stuff. Like it just goes and goes and goes. Like it's just it takes a fucking lot to learn that shit too. And then it's on top of doing this and then doing streams and all that stuff. So that's a part of it too. Like I don't want to ever over exert myself to do this stuff when I need to be learning as well. But I really like McNally's on the zone system, which is on YouTube. Good callers, Rucker. Yeah, we don't know, Matt. It's hard. Yoshi's calling in next time. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'll try it again in 2 weeks. We'll see. Joe Grana, thank you, Joe. Most knowledge on anywhere. Good night. Appreciate that. I'm impressed. Took a break from dinner. You're still smoking. Thanks, Mike. Exactly. I can do extreme by myself all the time. It's easy, especially when I've got people to talk to. I like his skill set. When I watched him against Jamal Adams, he dominated him his rookie year. I think he's a good receiver. I think he's physical. I'm not sure how great he is as a blocker, but I know he's a physicality to do it. So him as a guy who's going to get $4, $5, $6 million a year, bring him in as hopefully tight end too, to one of like McBride or Whittemire or whatever to be the one. I'm cool with that. But the only thing that you have to understand with tight ends in the NFL, they're basically learning offensive line and receiver. It takes them a little bit to adjust. So I just don't expect one of these guys to come in here and absolutely kill it right off the bat. It rarely happens with tight ends. So I know that's gonna I know it's gonna happen. We'll draft McBride. He'll come in first couple of weeks. He'll have like 6 catches, 60 yards. People are like, dude, what the fuck? Like the guy sucks, and then he'll break out. So you have to be very patient with those guys. But I'm cool with Njoku. I would like that. There's another word for this part of the process. We can help another podcaster who's starting up and have him on your show. His name is Daniel from Jets Guru. I don't know who that is, but that's not. I'm not being a dick. I obviously he's starting up, so I don't know if he's come across my path or anything like that. Yeah, anybody reach out. I'll help them with anything. Whatever, books, clinics, whatever. Getting helped out. I don't know. Oh, have him on your show? I don't have any guests ever. The only guests I've ever had is Nania, Jets X Factor, Kyle Smith, Jets X Factor, and Marcus Coleman, who played in the NFL for a living. I don't really have guests, so I can try to help in some way. This is fun. I'll definitely try to call in next time. Sweet. Dotson and Wilson are early summer to watch the tape. It's supposed to go to Routers. Exactly. If you're the guy who's as good in the second as the guy in the first, why take him at 10? Are we reaching? Is the talent that really different from 35, 38 receivers are going to be there? I don't know. I don't know if you don't want Hamilton at 4, but at 10, he may be a good value. He's 21. I'm cool with him at 10. 10, I'm cool with Hamilton. 4, I'm not. Okay. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, first time, people calling in. Success. 3 hours of bullshitting with you guys by myself. Couldn't have enjoyed it more. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, Hamilton, Thibodeau, Karlaftis, Equano, all the reviews are coming. I know a lot of people don't love the film stuff, but I get into the real nitty-gritty shit of techniques and route stems and holding your line and staircase steps and break steps and pivot steps, like all that stuff. That's just receiver stuff. Like we get into it. So if you want to know about the players, go watch review stuff, subscribe to Jets Factor. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Tony, again. I'll talk to you guys again. I think I'm going to try this again in like 2 weeks. The only thing with this is to just a little bit of a preview or just a behind the scenes thing. I don't just work Monday through Friday. My schedule always rotates to different days. So I can't just have a consistent schedule. Like, oh, this is always going to be the night. Like Thursday, 6 to 8 works out well for me because even if I worked at night, I could sleep. But with this, like 8 to 10 type stuff, I'm going to have to nail down a schedule for a live call-in show with just me and you guys. Maybe we'll bring in Kyle sometimes, whatever. So stay tuned. Again, I appreciate all of you. So thanks, and I'll talk to you soon.